Yaba ken kind ya ma Samson anko YouTuber. Also in Short TV, YouTube in Short TV. Mr. Also no now subscribe channel no ediama me uvia na waja message awo ho. Ye kwa ne ba and somehow do amodi abani na ne akenkan and so etimi ediama me say. And na story am person wasan pa no I Vinicius Junior to Arsenal. Na anra yankosho Real Madrid training grounds Vinicius Junior and a train number 40. Hey, I am akwai on Real Madrid. Emkusia kan emfama ya Arsenal. Now the country of Branton or started training at the Real Madrid no. Oriani Nhyira passports and now no pay yebedi sound common no. Etimi at the Amamo Fran Torres. Aya Barcelona play and Branton so no. Some and saying Branton they are linking with a lot of clubs. Now also Casadia Fahua and also no own some Adeba. Chelsea goalkeeping department problem no. Also yes Chelsea for no. Amo ya home bibi. Send be on me at changing Yama our ha. And also yet the some at the Eba Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool and a Johnny Real Madrid. Yes, it's say Madrid for us on Bemano a new role. Now on also play at the Real Madrid Bobo Kono and in some P ebe fiamane etimi abanyamiya aduma and na bosume pepe a month today and at the Ghana Premier League you know and started yamiya aduma on the 4th of September. Na yabasha are two more bigger clubs our backroom ha Asante Kotoko ne Hearts of Oak yabasha mo general outlook no na yasha so far preparation no at the sound boabo no to say yente se two teams and as obi ye recruitment gidi bia but players no pama no mo pambi and so e dey free e team num ina ne be di sound come no abodwumadi so and in some outdoor aboabo no Tuesday edition of Nhyira Digital Passports ye di dwumadi no and so at the bram namum just say garbage ram ka be the formula etifo odian akwam ne ba Richard enie garbage ram edian e che dwumadi na say at the free a amanene.
For na so
okay.
Because me say na o ka say among for bebre person who the young Diomande deal, the situation between Real Madrid and the RB Leipzig and the play and Ankasa.
And then the Vinicius Junior
to Sagano. Arsenal Sagano.
Because what's the story is starting now.
Yeah.
Now you all thought one of those rumors now in 32.
Yeah.
Say Eddie Tronfeni BC. But it's a way free a different destination. It's not more function than engine. But all of a sudden, as I didn't a gain momentum. As a Vini, Real Madrid, and Johnny Tim Biaz Arsenal. And the man, but when I start with the young Monday,
and Vini, no, you're back because Saturday make Simbi and Mesa Bosubi.
No problem.
About that Vinicius Junior. Now, Rich, do you know what is happening between a young Diomande and a Real Madrid in terms of the deal? Yan Diomande ansana obe join RB Leipzig no. Not ni agent Max Gradel, former international player for Ivory Coast. Na onuna Olidi Maxidel Corporation na agency that players ano omu agents for them. Now, Yan Diomande ever joined RB Leipzig no. That deal and the agency that stood in for Yan Diomande no was the Maxidel. But along the line, no, Yan Diomande signed Emma Rock Nation Sports. Now, Rock Nation Sports for no are led by a brand of Jay-Z, or American rapper. On a Rock Nation Sports no, on a Edano. But after the signing of Yan Diomande to that Rock Nation, no, at this point, Abani said Real Madrid for no, a person cover Branton man and say a kind Emma Real Madrid no. What is happening is that Maxi de Ofono Abba Bontia Bekase, the player is still tied to a Omu agency. It's the assistants now, no. The transfer of a young Diomande from RB Leipzig to a Real Madrid cannot be completed. Wabra or Dasu a Maxidel registered player to their agency. So that is the standoff at that Omuntem Sisia. So as it stands right now on Rich, Maxi de Ofono omodi case nako FIFA ho.
Okay.
Almost say the player is registered to Omonum agency. And as it stands right now, no, they are supposed to be the ones benefiting from the transfer of Abrantiano from RB Leipzig to Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid for no more fool. Because almost say then a Rock Nation for Munim say player no. Registered to another agency. Now my phone abekache say Munamuye representatives of the player. For which reason, deal now go through no. Muse say no, mo be jam fin. Ama say Maxi de phone abe report yen. Ama FIFA. So that is where the problem is right now. Maxi de phone say they are the ones who are in charge of the player. Rock Nation Sufonso say they are the ones who are trying to broker that deal as agency for Ayon Diomande.
And African players are always they always create that problem.
Rich, I will not even blame the player per se. It is the agency. Because say, oh, you're Rock Nation. Now, oh, before Yan Diomande, now him say Yan Diomande is still tied to Maxi Dela. You need to be very transparent when you are going to broker that deal for player to move.
The reason here me blame Diomande is say, for all you know, if you know one country Rock Nation for. In most cases, many players in be a leader. Sometimes you ask them, oh, chairman, if you menya deal be na mpese me o side of we know so discussion no. So what I say, first off, who agency be na who agent be catch us there be. Maybe be we na afi scanning here yi be chance say be ba no. Oh na agent be afro catch. Matisse would be play on catch now.
Rich, the reason why I
African players no.
But you see, Rich, the reason why I beg to differ and say Sebi Rock Nation on a small agency. An agency that has been created and led by a Jay-Z American rapper. Or more different agents within the organization or multi player no. Eko sign a different club. I don't think say they would not have done their due diligence.
And I'm minimum to continue to the album to be. Josh, unless I'm only players in the leader, especially African player. Sanya mo men de bia. Me say minim for sure. Say, Rock Nation for no. Ombe due diligence and sana. Boy no they will proceed. Ubo come am so ombe bisa brand oh me a free agent. Agent be any no fa ho wa. No akwaju no de ahye butom. Enti deal be say be ban. Ho na afo ha because ha no sikasam ne ade enti no. E bia player and see so obi na show no mu to sam ne sa ne ma. So anti we player no so dem all kosoro no. All course that's uncle for no much.
Good.
Almost full say look, yes, you are contributing to your success story. It is a do be bad yes, you tell for be free. Even you see, plan on
Rich. The main reason why this conversation is very important and they say reportedly Sika Yan Diomande agents ebenya from Saudi way if it goes through. Sika nothing less than 15 million euros. That is the money that the agency that is leading Yan Diomande ebenya. So it tells you the reason why Maxi de Ofono have come back into the equation. Because on say, according to what we are hearing, no, on say most of it a report, the true reflection of the situation about Bontia Mubiati. But the year gadano from Central for or more deep insights of the story. No, this is what they are telling us. And on the face value, Maxi de Ofono said they have sent the case to FIFA. Into almost a FIFA for no, and become some more. Because Rich, one of the things that FIFA MP is the obstruction of transfer deals with agents. And if you make a mistake, one share your international transfer certificate now was say omitimi issue Emma player no yen the transfer no. So they will not release the international transfer certificate. It is what is a young demand the deal no any go through. These are the issues. Maxi they was saying he still signed to them. Rock Nation me play no. It is say Sikano, Abedan Fifi. They don't know who is going to. And I think FIFA in the coming days no. Rich will hear something from them. Rich, Chelsea is also in the stories. On said they be a buy yes Chelsea. I'm on frontier. Said the reason is because Chelsea is one of the most active teams.
Sure.
And Uchemu time. Chelsea why not doing so all top players no dear. You cannot stop them. Rich. Over the weekend, NYT Valentin Baku, Argentine International, this particular World Cup or Argentine national team for no Kobo at US and Mexico and Canada. You see Chelsea for signing from Strasbourg for about 40 million euros. Into Valentin Barco and Chelsea, so assigning. Then there were good talks between Rayo Vallecano and Chelsea for Pep Chavaria. Into Abranteno and Che Yabeti Pep Chavaria for 25 million euros plus 5 million add-ons. Chelsea for no my crowd so Mkwako for Abranteno and Manabisina kind. Chelsea then Rich, I think one of the biggest ones Diogo Costa, goalkeeper for Sporting CP. Chelsea for no, it looks like they're getting very, very close to signing a Branton and it could average something between 60 million euros because player and release clause no. But Chelsea for no person be less than that. I be around 40-45 million euros. No more for Branton because on say Robert Sanchez. You didn't know who be say goalkeeper no.
Sanchez be
second choice.
Okay.
Because as it stands now, Mike Pendes any Abrantia
and I'm the Strasbourg.
I'm not sure say Sanchez because Strasbourg.
Okay.
I was so Timmy fighting for the place. I say goalkeepers be why if you don't give them competition, they don't struggle. They don't strive to fit into the team. And then I think if Kofa Diogo Costa and be see a camera Chelsea, it will cause Robert Sanchez to sit up and there will be competition in that goalkeeping department. Then Rich Aston Villa for set piece coach, a friend Austin McPhee. We free Aston Villa will be joining Chelsea. Inti Sisi amene ukase oko Hong Kong. Chelsea for Juventus bebo 5th August year into oko joining omo. Into it means that Chelsea is not just about the player signings, but person we a total overhaul of a team no to improve upon the performance. And I think say in the coming days, I think another thing is say Chelsea for person who turn players be brave.
Okay.
It's Badiashile be free up, Chalobah be free up, Liam Delap is on the market for 40 million pounds.
Exactly
Sassi Beko. Chalobah Beko and sure Pedro Neto Beko.
Okay.
Because Liverpool for no, but Chelsea for so amount for be less than 70 million and for be more than 60, 65, 70 million and family no ton play and more. So as it stands right now, no, and also you come a features for us, but now we say Mihailo Mudryk in Swaba.
Yeah, we can number.
Yeah. Now only say Obaye, he looks like a fresh signing for Chelsea. Because no Obiani Naso. Say be transfer a doping ban so but now he's back in the Chelsea folder. Utimu say no, there's another competition on the left hand flank for a year Xabi Alonso to see who would be the preferred player in that particular. For me, sure say Chelsea for Tommy Mihailo Mudryk. Biana they will give him the time to settle back into the team because
is there a doubt?
No, but what?
So there will be a suitor.
Of course, because Chelsea for top player 89 million pounds. Okay, so whole tone CC, I wouldn't 89 million pounds. So what you say, and I think over 3 years, over 3 years, he has to force his way. Of course.
Or far form now. Maybe Amber Jones and Botton.
Yeah. The last story I'm is about the Vini Junior. No?
Okay.
Rich assistants Sisi Ayeka Mikel Arteta afa phone after Vini Junior catch and say Opesa Branton BC Akaim Emma Arsenal. And well, so Usha's story in Rich. I think the only thing I can tell you right now is that Arsenal are also quite desperate for the young man. Because I honestly felt, say, of course, so for Vini Junior Manebeka team, he gives you a lot of options in attack. But is that the right man for the job? Maybe question maybe some. And Saturday maybe won't come over. Say I didn't think say necessarily meeting Vinicius Junior new wage demands and telling him so when the playing time in Arsenal is enough to guarantee say he'll come and give you the best performances that you expect from him. Because all about Arsenal, no, number one, he is coming to meet a team that is under pressure to keep up with performances at OKP last season, going all the way to the Champions League final, winning the title. But now, no, we're losing the key players, and there are still rumors say key players be free up. If you have Vinicius Junior coming in, there's going to be a lot of burden on your shoulders to deliver. And you know the English media, Rich. Yeah. Once you come in, if you're not delivering, they are going to stay on your neck until you force your way out or you step up. And Vinny Junior, we know how mentally sometimes fragile he can be. In the pressure way about us now, just because Arsenal for some seek over 400,000 pounds a week. We are not rich. Look at Vinicius Junior. It doesn't look like any other team for Eshisheno. team and education beam. It's only Arsenal and I dream so obetria say sikanamano. Inka Eban say Real Madrid for any dim commoner or muntimi meet standards. No, you would have expected other clubs, Saudi Arabia for someone Oscar. They would have come to take the player.
Every Hazard for no few say Vini to see Edoma.
That is another point of the conversation.
If your future be a fine, but see Vinicius Junior they be Hazard in them into a moon try cry.
But then Vinicius Junior rich. Yes, he cannot know what she say.
What?
It's the money he's looking for. Until once you give him that money, Obeba. Until I think say Bia say no common. Baby
okay.
He may go to Arsenal because he say Arsenal for one person submit 150 million euro bid for the player. International corridors, you have
corridors. Me do ready until say.
I better confirm.
You have a train machine so, and I have a train air radio so. Na yendina yehu bi say abrante no ogina Arsenal. Yashana Arsenal Jesse. You're unveiling the actual na. May I still doubt this transfer deal. Today, na the na yedi home come. Insurance of 4.5 from yen to
for na swear.
Okay.
Because me say na o ka say among for bebre person who the Yan Diomande deal, the situation between Real Madrid and the RB Leipzig and the player and Ankasa.
And then the Vinicius Junior
to Arsenal Sagano.
Because what's the story is starting?
Yeah.
Now you all thought one of those rumors na in 32.
Yeah.
Say Eddie transfer ni be say but say we free a different destination. It's now mom function the engine. But all of a sudden as I no again momentum. I said Vini ebetime Real Madrid. And Johnny team be as Arsenal. And the man the but we then start with the young Diomande.
And Vini no you be back because Saturday me ka Simbi and Mesa Bosu
no problem.
About that Vinicius Junior. Now Rich, do you know what is happening between Yan Diomande and Real Madrid in terms of the deal? Yan Diomande ansana obe join RB Leipzig no. Not ni agent Max Gradel, former international player for Ivory Coast. Na onuna Olidi Maxidel Corporation na agency that players ano omu agents for them. Now Yan Diomande ever join RB Leipzig no. That deal and the agency that stood in for Yan Diomande no was the Maxidel. But along the line, Yan Diomande signed Emma Rock Nation Sports. Now, Rock Nation Sports for no are led by Abrante Fene Jay-Z, or American rapper. On a Rock Nation Sports no, on a Edano. But after the signing of Yan Diomande to that Rock Nation no, at this point, Aban is a Real Madrid for no. A person cover Branton man and say a kind Emma Real Madrid no. What is happening is that Maxi de Ofono Abba Bontia Bekase, the player is still tied to a Omu agency. It's the assistants now no.
And your local coaches see Adena young fire national teams in farm home. So you did teams in the moment. So result of the mind.
Answer the local coach in a Mami bare 5 minutes na memfanka what is really happening with Vinicius Junior issue.
Okay. To Arsenal.
Yes, mami check no mo ketuwe bi. Say ne be ya tie for ne ahwefo will understand what is really happening. Say Rich, kobe over 1.5 years in you. And a Spanish media never reported say Real Madrid and Vinicius Junior. Didn't come about contract renewal. Ebe seen ne, and see it. And Arsenal who said, as a tukrobi da one way bit me. But what is really happening? Rich, I remember in 2018, Anna Real Madrid by announced say Omako Flamingo, no mako who young guy be na oye. Top potential. Enti as at the time, almost the 45 million euros. Kotono Brazil Abba. Rich in 2018 si yɛka sɛ obi si akan wɔ Brazil na yɛde 45 million ɛkɔ akɔtɔ then it means the guy
is big.
And any team bia to say Madrid who have seen players over the years, among whom players. And today na Madrid be who small boy or Brazil where you ready say obetinye to 45 million. Rich, sign our brand any Vini Junior. And Madrid ko fa ne buy. Oba any early days na emfa but in kakran and a farmer Vini. Now in 2022, Yakobo Kata FIFA World Cup no. And Madrid offer a contract renewal not only to Vini, Rodrigo the Ghost Cajon, Eda Militao Cajon, and some few other players. Now Madrid contract renewal of an omodema players no. Rich saying na contract renewal no etie. Okay. And at the company be Rich almost okay, you were 2022. Yeah, my contract offer. Ebi SC 2027. ABC 2028. ABC 2029. For all the players, more now who choose so many years, more now we can then you are committing more years to us. Meaning say make what you say. And we are in 2022. Contract offer now Real Madrid and the players, Tom, I know do comment no e dia ba betaya subscribe anytime be a video bia e be ready no so betimi aka afa uko Facebook e do ensure 1045 FM ensure 1045 FM e Facebook handle e also twane ene man so atima koye on TikTok no so ensure 1045 FM also wo twane ene man nyina betimi anso atwane ma men sensem na se yen nkoba kakwa na hefre na de pato na nkoba kakwa eba asetano a enwumere yase hefre na Sanko Africos na Mubaka 2015 one of the Africos man and so ete there's Afcon Elisomana so since then I have Renat na Juma ya awa bibirem hanom and yaman for agility amanano takura unim sir or call South Munina Koya Juma no me pato have Renat asampa reporter men saka sir Africos man and so so beti media Juma no and yama have Renat and yan kobaka kwanswa etota ewo Juma de so na no pen make it ediamo maminko kevada na uko kevada woman and to quote Tommy in the call wake up no ayo penyani de Pedro ayo Bobista reporter mensaka and it's Pedro ayo Bobista ayo Brito yase welcome Morocco now welcome Morocco dia there's a Moroccan club I know and some other club residents reporter mensaka so oko Bekene what the Bekene kwa to manam not as a 2026 when and the niema and so to me akwe at the makevadi obuko na what me call ayo wake up no Brito Pedro Brito hanom aye reporter Bobista ifina kate edi aba ewo tumadi so a ene anope make kire adama na ba mamenko team and team aye Newcastle menko kwedi kunjuma kakra ewo Newcastle boboko no me pato ukwa Newcastle na update me second year Newcastle boboko no yase Fred Beda Arsenal ade koye no fa branta ni dia de Bruno Guimaraes yase nkofo so munche esansa branta nyame anim ni 75 pa de nkofo ne pa wo munye ne aye 80 wo me de 80 million pounds at the badia and wo metime nya branta no na se pa se wo ba ba to branta ni dia de Bruno ti na mo Arsenal na se mabo aye ya kan se UEFA Champions League Major League ni de sibu na so manyaska dia na mo ba to players na mo de asebo Canada Bruno Guimaraes de nyame anim ni wo mo 75 de anya de so mo bete and this Arsenal 4 power per dia 80 million o mo famra wo mo de badia Bruno Guimaraes so metime nya brante no ene enkoba kakwa men saka e wo duma de su na me ko Bernardo Silva a new player and man man de bobo ko na abrante na kasa ye bisa no DNT ano 20 team and at him pato Martin Boboko na wakata wasi ankamo pianta se Jose Mourinho entino otwania Mourinho ya Despasa one senior Dino Etena wasu ba Portugal wamo ya do peni ye pa upa one Portuguese international after sa wama Portugal din akwa sa fana nyino mo gide se Jose Mourinho enso boy ye panti se ne Jose asa na oba be ye mad de djuma no wato ne nsa de afana wonu Bruno de woni bibia ya so opa na
adwuma wɔba bɛyɛ adwuma na no so atumi boa wɔse ne nkweda berɛ mu nyinaa no nyame anim ne wɔhwɛ Jose Mourinho wɔabra ɔkɔti clubs a wode wɔbɛta afei de wɔanya akwanya wɔne ɔpɛyi no ankasa ɛba bɛyɛ adwuma ɛnti n'ani ate yie paa sɛ wɔbɛ return no afei so Madrid wɔ mu pre-season no ɔmoyɛ no ɔno so atumi ayɛ adwuma no ɛde ama Madrid bobɔkɔ no ɛno ayɛ reporter Bernardo Silva ɛde aba ɛwɔ dwumadeɛ so Mamenko Gonzalo ɛyɛ Garcia wɔno yɛ striker ɛde ma Madrid mpepe a meka sɛ wɔyɛ player ɛde ma Fulham bobɔkɔ no wonim sɛ Avelo Abelua anasi sɛ ɔyɛ head coach ɛde ma Fulham na since Avelo Abelua ɛnso ɛkɔɛ no Madrid nkodaa no nyinaa from ɛyɛ Garcia wɔn sɛ ɛhɔ na Avelo Abelua yɛ adwuma no yɛ paa ɛnti Madrid nkodaa academy players Garcia players no wɔnim totoɔ no paa even yɛde Madrid adwuma no de ma no wɔno ano ɔde ɛyɛ nkodaa no ɛsɛ asɛ so mu wurawura ma na nano deɛ yɛ ɔba Fulham no ano ne Madrid ɛdi nkɔmɔ sɛ abɛnta ne deɛ de Gonzalo Garcia deɛ wɔnya no ɛwɔ Fulham a ɛbɛtumi aboa yɛ pɛnti no wɔn hwɛ no ɔmo ntena sempatɔ agreement ne no ato ɔmo rekyɛ biribiara no paperwork no ɔmo anya wiawie official abɛnta no anya adwa ne Fulham na ɛyɛ 40 million euros ɛne yɛ sika wura mu mepatɔ 2 million ɛka wɔn ɛne yɛ advance afei dante akɔmɛ bia no ɛkɔba sɛ Fulham bɔbɔkɔ no ɛto abɛnta na Madrid ɛbɛnyɛ 30% ɛwɔ de sika ɔmo de tɔn no so ɛne yɛ reporter mensa kan efi akoda na kata ɛna no pɛ me prɛte diama mepatɔ nema nso akasa na nema ne yɛbisa sɛ na no da wake up no the statement bi bae yɛ de yɛadwene sɛ wa retire no sɛ hwɛ me retire pa de ɔnyɛ na ade so retire beta yɛnka ma obi anta sɛ wɔne team ani de Santos wɔ contract ɛno ɛbɛwie ɛyɛ December ɛnti until December no ɛnya de so ɔde bibia ba bonten ne contract no bɛhɛ no ana na mmom December ne tu na sɛ obɛtae bɔba wɔbɛmu obi aso atem afei ɔhɛ ne witem na bɔ no nso ɔbɛtoa so a wɔbɛmu obi aso atem ana mpo sɛ ɔntoa so ɛwɔ Santos bɔbɔkɔ na baabi foforɔ a ɛno nso ɔbɛmu obi aso aso atem ɛnti yɛntwɛ up to December ɛde yɛn kɔbɛkakɔ so a Neymar ɛde ɛba ɛwɔ dwumadie so ɛnɛ anɔpɛ meka kyerɛ kakra ɛde ama ɔ mepatɔ Mamenko ɛyɛ Manchester City na wokɔ City bɔbɔkɔ no a wobɛka 2 days ago ana me baba katam sɛ blante baako atɛsɛ wɔno bɔ no nim ni poye pa na wo masase adi akoda no ho nkɔbɔ ɛno ayɛ atenti da nipa ne tim adi jarani mo ayɛ rule na akoda we nyame anim nie wo ayɛ Olympic du mase awona blante na wo ye goalkeeper adi mo Olympic du mase na no da City say Gigi Donnarumma omu hia backup adi ma Gigi Donnarumma wo bana be ye duma no wo City yɛse wo mo the official bid kɔ and to official bid nya kokodum ene an ye twend the response team and the Olympic to say and so Edema Manchester City boboko no ada so mbeti ase ana so Manchester no ana tase ye be with the way many na and so siko ene report kakwan so etotam e wo tumadi so ene anopa make it wan se ahodo nyina so and so ade ma better Franco Trading Enterprise yesi wo mo de mobile phones no diaba wo pe phone e kama ene ye Franco Trading Enterprise pato say Nokia Samsung iPhone no won sabeka de smart TV wo de bi aba wasene mase no de bi apa afen so microwave hia blender hia generator san sabeka de gas and electric stove no pato e bi of Franco Trading Enterprise akate nyame anim ne ba ne CCTV cameras ene nakadia boga Franco ana akwakofa de aba phones ne na so se pa de e Franco Trading Enterprise da no pay we no musu betime tin kobo e wo huma we so 0245 316969 and as 0501 538 no anya Franco edum baby bebre ejaba do esincho ho me pato wo mo bo talent bush up be nyomo afe uko old mekoba wo mo nyomo na eboso ko clinic wo mo nyomo na di hwinhwe enso ewo edum ana new credit obenya Franco Trading Enterprise me pato wo mo numbers enso obetumi enyo medin kobo ewo 02453 166 96 na nafe wo so set mekoba na se 0501 0501538 605 Franco Trading Enterprise anope womanu hia bomaniama ay kama diamao Alaska Star Enterprise sese wo dem wo be sese wo dem ay Alaska Star Enterprise omo ana the opportunity nyina ade ma sese wo dem ma wo dem nya kono wo de mabu sheet ade aba wo de air blankets nso aba wo ade material curtains afi aroma diffusers no nsa be kan de inflatable sofa chairs wo de ring light wo de bed side lamps wo de sofa covers ana wo de decorative watches ne flowers wɔn de plastic window center mat PVC floor tiles carpet artificial grass ne DSP foams ne nyinaa adiapa ɛne Alaska Star Enterprise ɛne Kumasi Mpacho ɛdum ana wɔn nsa bɛka mo wɔn ɛwɔ Mrs. Anoche Plaza wɔn de Prudential Plaza ne tiɛn hwɛ wɔn no mɛsi ne 02586 330075 anasa 0200281080 na wɔnya Alaska Star Enterprise ana no pɛ no wɔde wɔn so ahwɛ Mpacho ayade sɛ okɔ ayankan atudu wɔn ne MTDD office anasa Ecobank ɛna edi ɛnimhwɛ ɛno ayɛ Alaska Star Enterprise wɔn ata wɔn ne nyuma eko ɛnkae pii wɔn ɛso asene ɛnkɔfa ma so yɛgu so a yɛde update no ɛnso ɛde tambo na mekɔ PS na makɔ akɔdi nkɔmɔ kakra wɔ PS bobokɔ no mepato ukɔ PS a ɛno anta meba bɛka tɔ sɛ wɔn pa branch ne tin ɛnso ɛde Mika got na wɔn akɔ akɔdi nkɔmɔ akoda no yɛ player ɛrema Ayas bobokɔ no na yɛse PS ɛkɔya wɔn so mbɛtua 40 million euros ɛno ɛyɛ fixed ɛyɛ price wɔn wi a wɔn de 5 million add-ons ɛde aka ho ɛne yɛ bonuses ɛbɛka ho ne nyina bɛkɔ akɔyɛ 45 ɛyɛ million euros mpato yɛsɛ wɔn de scan kokodu ya team and de Ayas sɛ nya de so mbɛte abrante ne bɔ no ɛtɛn saa kora na yɛse panyin baako a wɔn saa tu no ayɛ 10 ɛde ama PSG bobokɔ no ɛyɛ Joy de Cruyff me pato papa no enso enie na yɛse Joy de Cruyff ɛwɔ didi yɛ pa sɛ abrante ne de Mika ayɛ got no akoda no bɔ no nimni poye ana PSG wɔmanya sika papa and it's a PSG anya sika na so wɔn de tuto players a ɛma wɔn fa sa sika fia no ɛmfa ma Ayas bobokɔ no yɛse Joy de Cruyff sɛ ankobenya pa de a anya rekwa de 60 million euros sabi sika opɛ fa abrante ne de Mika got anya rekwa pa de ankobutimi twetwe huma na nanka ekokodu 160 kra kɔfɔ so opɛ wɔdo Mika got no me patro ne yɛ reporter Mensaka efi Joy de Cruyff ana fe PSG ane Ayas bobokɔ na kate eba ewo dwuma de so Chelsea wo mo Ghana ni small boy baako ɛhɔ Genesis entry na anopai reporter Mensaka ne Chelsea for no ata o me de report e de abasa Genesis entry wo mato akoda ne de na kɔ Strasbourg enti okɔ akɔyɛ dwuma no na a long term loan ana akoda ne kɔ akɔbɔ o Strasbourg bobokɔ no nyame anim ne sɛ ni mu miamiade a ene next season ebia eya by this time yɛka sɛ na bia wasan ba Chelsea na wɔba bɛyɛ adwuma de ama Chelsea ɛno ayɛ Genesis entry report efi akoda na kati ɛde abane na mekɔ Newcastle makɔ akɔdi nkɔmɔ kakra reporter Mensaka sɛ Felix Mecha reporter Mensaka ne sɛ yɛsi nkɔfo na kɔ akɔdi nkɔmɔ na the German international yɛsi Newcastle few sɛ Nick Votamada wɔgu so a wɔyɛ adwuma no wɔmunya Felix Mecha ama akoda no nso bɛyɛ betumi aboɔ mu yɛ paa ntɔba sase adi nkɔmɔ wɔn so Bruno Quamaras so mu twom mu tan ɛne abɛtene pa akoda no bɛnya akɔ na sɛ Bruno Quamaras akɔde a ɛne so munya another player no ba bɛyɛ adwuma no ɛde mɔmɔ wɔn mu agidi yɛ pa sɛ wɔmunya Felix Mecha adeɛ no betumi ayɛ kama ɛde ama Newcastle bobokɔ no ɛnkɔba kakra ne na mamenkɔ ɛyɛ Fukando ɛyɛ Medina wɔnom ɛyɛ player ɛde ma team and team ɛde Olympic duma sɛ reporter Mensaka ne Banner for Leverkusen ɛde 20 million bid ɛde buy sanko munya Medina nkɔmɔ pɛ the Agent International yeso mu bedu ya bebe Olympic duma se sa akoda no ne po ne bro sa enti so mu hia akoda de omu nkabo no eye na sa 20 million de enya de se Fukando Medina wo betimi ade sa sika no nyame anim ne akoda we obi a wabo eye World Cup de wo besi de 20 million apa ade so mu pedem kakra ene sika no mu ya kase bia no ma hwa consider ene reporter Mensaka ede for Olympic duma se ede apa na ma menko Franco Mastantuano wani player at the Madrid bobokɔ no na Madrid aba bedi nkomo pi wa bontin official nyame anim ne officially enyamba bonte from Madrid but outlet awudo ni nya report sir abrante we nyame anim wo hwɛ Jose Mourinho tuma na wa ya na akoda we Master Antoine Mesa onka plans no ho enti omadin so munya loan na omade abrante de bɛkɔ na teams be na eyi obutia Mate Fiorentina bobokɔ no ana Mate team to mu fi Saudi na yesi team baako from Saudi wo mo buy na de say another so omoje SS kan omede pa abrante no enti reporter men say ka say bibia kukoye na Fiorentina bobeko no after so many Madrid bo tutu offending match no yete say no mo ticha abrante ni yem wo madi nkoba so munya akoda no mo pe enti nyame nim say ka Madrid beta ase pa dia ankomunya akoda na nka anya hwekwa no wo mena me bon former Fiorentina bobeko no ene reporter men say ka from Franco Masantuana and now pay make it the man na me kwa Ferran Torres na Ferran Torres say player Edema Barcelona na akodano afe na oba belante na wase pieces na se Edema Barcelona boboko na already medical cartel say Barca man report to be on Mokata Branches say or paso your contract e wo Barcelona on be man your contract no in fact omu hian wo team no better contract no be Edema Barcelona no ni sika se manya de so mbe pagam de tia na tie sa sika na eno abi ana omu de man ti so beti ase de a eno mbe contract sense na dia ma no ama ba ka 2 days ago me ba ka to sa se flick ese wo twen sa Branches de baba work up nim no ne akoda ne di nkomo besi nem won say da ne akoda ne ni nkomo bia afi no time Sabrante de Ferran Torres baba na one ne ba fe omatimadi nkomani yem na anope reporter men say kane ya say Abrante no omadi nkomaye pa na enkomo madi na central for ekoko bi san say sisi ne move na okwahe ayefa na odi nani enso ache ya say Abrante na say ade ba ko betimaka say decision de afi no ba beteke na oteki decision na including no and the family no wo benya decision na ya kama na timabo adasa obetena basa ana say adasa obekono eno so afe na hon koba no enso eba ne ya reporter me pato Ferran Torres ankasa e di eba e wo dwumade so ene anopa me katire adama na wo bi no mbisa so okay na tamben ana steps ben ana wo take na wo so wetena wie bibia ano so nyame anim ja all time so be ba start pre-season adama Barcelona boboko na oba Barcelona no be start pre-season na ana ye behu die besi enti so obekọ ana so nko de wantimi nkire ne ana ye bisa so okay yatete se PSG boboko no enso diska ediaba na Ferran Torres wo beko PSG na ano se yanka mo bia ntia se nyame anim ne wonya na adwen se ebia okọ baabi ene ana se etena na baabi a ono so ebetena no ade se eno no onya endisade ye enti afi obahwe na afi wetima decide na o decide wi a ene amanfo behu baabi ono so ekọ asamba ko betima ka se we a player adeti ho winim die besi na ade tia ana ebetimi adane ediama enti so beko PSG no ade sa ade aten no won be wi a enema nso besi akọ woba na se ba asase wontena woba na se ba asase wonko eho ana bia PSG discuss no enso betimi apama no ye reporter me pato Abrante de Ferran Torres ade tutwa e wo dwumade so ene anopa no make kire kakra enso ediama now ma men ko banim kakra na men ko Manchester United na okọ Manchester United a yeso mudi nkomo ana Abrante de Oli Watkins na Oli Watkins diu na anu so to the last summer say ya bepe na Manchester United eko Oli Watkins ho ana teso mo hesem kebi o metimanya Abrante no Manchester United di nkoma yati ya ne so ba kwa goto Benjamin Sesko e da Abrante na ba na no da na amanfo bisase na Oli Watkins isi anu ni situation no Manchester United a revisit ya na pato no kure wo mpa ya say isi anu Manchester United enya ndi nkomo bia emfafo Oli Watkins wo so bepa ana so man pato eno so update bia enya ma ene yankoba kakra so free Manchester United akate edi eba ewo dwumade so ene anopa me katire edama now ma me ntwane na menko Manchester so na me nkoba na yekoko be so panya ni tin edi meke kawe kesa sai ana ni diseases no esitia player ben na auto ne na ba na ni players na be striker ana se ebe midfielder me bato enkoba kakra me nseka se yese Manchester nka so mu nchade hu ye so mo to midfield so mo to strikers bi mo omunya ehu ye sans already omanya to chairman data ana omato Andre Santos so edinaba enti FIFA mu odide se hwamia na the option so mbeto striker yese Manchester United enya undecided wie ebi omu decide na ebehu de we anema no enso ebesi akwa ne reporter afiri Manchester kate edi eba Rexo na 72 hours Rexo na 72 hours eba na sadia enema nyina akoye edi ama ohu beye hwehweham we obi am fifire to ampato Rexona ana meka for dia ma wunya Rexona dia beboa ama tese ne ma nyina nso etima koyem kama adia ma ukọ cosmetic shop ana fe ayadese baby aye Tom Body Plus ana aye spray bi ampato wubenya Rexona nso etima to na eno nso etima boa eden kapapa ana di gina nso botinum wobesa taden be 2-3 days wabra enka bia nso enyama Rexona eno na tese kama ensese agodo nyina so na sese no adia ba ko yese mahiti promo na gusu ekoso and you tell us so. Woman omedi mahiti promo no and so edema tell us say woman skedi and ti woman ekwa 1 million Ghana cedis no omedi tem every month be on sub account there after every week be when yakwa there nya 20,000 Ghana cedis every day be when yakwa there 100 Ghana obetimi dia two bottom and ti dia so you should tell us play up no e dey djuma na say we be use na wato credit with the lodu wallet no lodu wallet na fe woto taba sa kwanya na so na onso ubetimi afaso na ma hiti promo no wonso etimanya sika enso edi enter Ghana ha na onso aye millionaire ubetimi afa phone na wadare star 500 has star 500 has afi when your opportunity na manyina enso aye kama edi ama wachese awodo nyina so na my entry na menko panta di dia Julian Alvarez menko kwedi nkoma kakwa na Julian Alvarez a player Adama team and Tina de Atletico Madrid na akoda we Barca ehia akoda ni ye pa amoma din koba matesen koba no ekwa nim ye na baso na nkobo mu din nyina no na no pe mekokwate ya sa Atletico Madrid de say omo de abante no wo mu twesa abante no betimi apa na oma draw aye training pre-season plan nyina de ama abante no say oba eno na offer so omo de omunim so mu player na eba enti say bia abante no be ko so nko ano de enya no na Atletico Madrid for gomasem no mo Iris on the 10th of August there. I couldn't bet me Alande. No Yanda Alande there. We would train no Massy saying no. I could not sweat to me a Jumano at the Met team and it in at the Atletico Madrid in Tisa. Basona first one open there. And the Bata for Nancasa, a monkey call Massami. I could not Nancasa call already almost on Montacodano. And it's a Bassa fire or Madrid just on a turn on Batodia. And I come back say Mumia Mutamina had the enemy to my at the Mumia Penny reporter. Epa, I would many so. Now, Meko Trent Alexander Arnold. Na Trent Alexander Arnold a player at the man did the Bobo corner na kodawe man did say pre-season asia abusia ankobaka kwa mense kanie yasi Jose Mourinho up a new air grow at the amakodawe yasi a triple air vaccinating player anatasa omede abante ne babe we player ba ko beta eniema omede makodanom yasi Jose Mourinho baya was a ban right back or position no obey starter right back right back no only deep attacking now right back on your jumano and farmer man to the number 1 number 2 and so yes ban set pieces one of the set pieces specialist it's answer the crosses and in the short to yes a very quality and you say Mourinho come out can here and to number 1 one on the starter right back home number 2 or set pieces specialist and also offense yes a Madrid yo attack now one na mesen fifio when you organizer and for momo in air progression send e be ya e betima bo Madrid progressions air faces what tasa na no da mo bo fiontina no Wabo ama banta de Trent Alexander Arnold sade na Trent Alexander Arnold sade no he no ama sia Jose Mourinho ehu niema obetimi dia ma akoda nti niema miensa we ana mo dia ma Trent Alexander Arnold said this season ye behu afi akoda na katem enkoba kakwa mensa kanie na ma menko banim kakwa na menko Hendrick na akoda we nyame anim ne hobi tudu fo se ompe club bi nko na madede ne de ebe ten e dia ma na pa yase Jose Mourinho baya why a fourth choice air striker at the man Madrid in Pato Muncheni or you have the fourth choice air striker Esan Mbappe Vini aye two no and omni Carlos SP adiaba aye 3 and to no beto so 9 na yasis wa he kwampa obakwa kotosu eye num esan say yanta Monday and so eba and tiabasa dia na taso okeka konsia and ti say Rodrigo and so bana ne ho atoda akoda we ebe the sixth choice aye striker Adama Madi na dem say ne ball na be dimpa and to we dey akwamba say obi antufo wa hwe situation no na wankaso atu hu fo no reporter me say ka na yesi Madi de so say the porter say what team no Medodo Kamavinga and afi Raul Asensio sa defender na Yes, or catch a coach is a Massa me, I didn't know start many other than ha, Sakudanum. Yes, woman, so no, Madda Catom, some better. Yes, I could answer one call, how many baby a cop, and your reporter, men second. I would to Media Su, our Madda Catcher, and a penny make catch a car, and so Adama now. Mamma called no alarm, not meaning Kobaka. Now, could I wait a player? Adama, a swimmer, Bobo, reporter, Mensa Eka, Dabi, okay, Mamma Quay, Mamma Comica Gas now. Ayas rather not meaning kobo. Yasi oko ayasa reporter eba ayasa wamase Sami Kagat na PRT eba no mupo na wamase po no enso esano na wamase se koba se nyame anim nie abranta ne beko na tese omupe another player na waba be yatuma no enso ade ama mo dia ene akoda we no mudi ye pass obetime aba be yatuma no enso ade ama mo na se omunya noa obetime aba be yatuma no kama enso ade ama na tese ne ma enso atime akoye ade ama mo from 18 ade ya kan se ade se no ala na tese no so atime aba be yatuma ni na ma ne ma enso atime akoye ade ama mo ansa okobolo nkakra o Galatasaray emom no player ade ma team and ade SS Napoli and Tania reporter men come ewo tumadi so ti se bibia we pay dia ani akoda we ebeba be ya tumandi ama ayazboko no na ma men twane kakra neta men ko be me ko Chelsea na madin ko bakakra na John Mikel Obi Chelsea legend mpato Chelsea for muntie sa story we ye pa na Mikel Obi na wedding komo ade afa Zabi Alonso hom na enkoba wedi afa Zabi Alonso hom simple wase wo ma Zabi Alonso ade bia ma wa hedi so wazo opezo obisa sa Zabi Alonso Chelsea na waba no wo bebo 4-3-3 anasa oba bebo 4-2-2 anasa oba bebo sa ne back 3 na no bon wo Leverkusen no sa bo na no oba bebo ana emom say yes de a ozo opezo ka to pay ni so on hedi ato Ruben Amorim Manchester United Amorim baye and also bebo back 3 Manchester front captain say yes system yes had the two upon sa ebema ade na ha Manchester omo kan ya Amorim Manchester enti Mikel Obi sisa impo wonyam fantu bi amfa ma Zabi Alonso wakata nsa won kan na no dam Amorim the same thing impo wonu Zabi Alonso woko Madrid de ekokoto ne ewo hom sa de nsam na no kokoye ye enti Chelsea de wo mo bo back further da enti se papa ne ba no ba be no back to the ohe wa we na akwa backfire e ba san so de na so ebetima ya siye pa enti on de ye futo ba kwa wodi ma opanya ne din de Zabi Alonso Chelsea system enya back 3 eno ye legendary John Mikel Obi ye nia abia kuta boy enkoba kakra Nigerian international ade tutu na no pay ye ka tire ne eno ati ma me Chelsea players ne meaning koba kakra yase Liam Tilap one anafe Nicolas Jackson nyame anim ne Nicolas Jackson ne yase Chelsea say one person mo turn 65 million pounds and 2 year team now pay Nicolas Jackson 65 million pounds eno no afe wo mo tasa abranta ne de Magui David Magui so wo mo se ne bo 25 million pounds and 2 year team now pay Magui ne bo 25 million pounds eno ati wo mo tasa abranta ne team Edi Pedro Neto anafe Malo Gusto wo munyina obi abo 75 million pounds and 275 for betima ba for players no Enzo Fernandez there wo mzi 120 flat wo nkra 120 there Enzo Fernandez anya de so obenya no ehun ko baka kra ne Mihalo Modric nano da na Branta no so ye clear no say isi ade ni doping sensem no wo ma wie betima sate etiaka de ma Chelsea in fact nyamianim ne nano kwasi ada in fact nano twada tese no ana okokolande ye ewo Turkey cancer Chelsea rather woman so Hong Kong abrante ne kwata as Chelsea preseason no moye no abrante na kwakolande na afina Chelsea for her yeso matiti to offers be play at as a man for bipa san komenya abrante no lona we metimi apeta see no problem well see kai ready says kan yan kwa dia Mihalo Modric we metimi ja abrante na dinama ade yan kobaka kwa me saka ne afi ma me Chelsea goalkeepers ne ma me sa 3 goalkeepers no na menin kobaka kwa Zabi Alonso another and Central 40 no mbisa say papa si say goalkeeping department no when and your number 1 Mark Pennes anasa Philip Jorgensen ebeba be adwuma na anasa ebia ya kan say Robert Sanchez na be adwuma no ano so ade ba ko betimi aka ama obi ata say yese ni goalkeepers no ono ohia competition ye pa wo goalkeepers na competition wo ma wase boy na abrante de ma Pendes eba no oba ano mewu de we aniema no so ebesi akọ na fe wo mahu number 1 the short stopper we tell say wa bayere ho no ana tell so be the favorite starter edema tell say yan ko ka kwan so a mensa eka we dwumade so sama ma no da set dem na sisi ano na yesi Chelsea Diego Costa eno Benfica wo mu goalkeeper no sisi a Chelsea wan na be third choice goalkeeper sini nyina nie enkoba kakwa mensa eka nie wan say Chelsea preseason yo bukoye goalkeeper wada goal post no no goalkeeper ni dey Teddy Sherman Lowe akoda no goal na wada na nya sam keto kra ana gaga Sonina enso ho na ye koko bisa say hwan ana be third choice ya say ne dobayre no ho ada say gaga na be ya de ana say Lowe ana be ya de ene wo mu mienu ba ko be third choice e de ba Chelsea boboko no ene enkoba kakwa so fi Chelsea akate e de ba ane bisa Zabelo say okay ene misa Premier League ni ba be sase wo no boys in preparation so far preseason no sana ne mesi akono so preseason de bibia e de dana kwemo International League ni sase de ade ba ko hia ye pa ye team spirit ne bana football ne ba se betimi ampa ama Chelsea akono ni ye pa ne so okay ya na philosophy ne nkoda na nya so philosophy na nkoda na tekwan be fa so and so boy na ano so kakra ne philosophy na fe ano de my boys no na waya matese the most important thing say enkoda no enso ebehu na ombetina se na fe so obi a be rally behind the team no na progress no enso asa kakra and to ogidie say yense season na say your proper there na tese ono so no etime ayaduma na toss ne philosophy no wono patosa bialonso boys no so etime hu kwan wa mo fasu sia kan ne reporter eba e wo dwumade so na ABC games ye yankase ABC dia ana ye dia ya kade and 244 na no Dar Star say 262 has star 262 has na fe what to su 3 letters what to su 3 letters na ye dona tese letters mi ansana wo so select ye no emu ba kokra piem na tese wo so wetimi anya sika adie pa entanope ye ntempa na fe ABC games no wo so first car akrafa 23 na pato to ne ahodo mako miensa first draw anopa nondua enonso bako atodwa enwumene nonum bako beba so anadwo non third one so etima baso na tese bibia etima wie peb ene ABC games yankasa ABC dia ana yede enso ayakade adopa enema nyina wie peb national lottery authority the stamp no e de so free 5 Ghana konso betime etwa biye pampato ade bako ne wonim sa formature limited omo di nupa ade aba na omo voluman ediaba na answer na formature limited story no mami Vinicius Junior na Vini Junior ni kwabna another Vinicius started training at the moment to the Boboko no ati Madrid for na mu bisa no mo player no started training na after say Vinicius Junior abeko Arsenal no between ne anita no ambaka ya mekata am say ene ana wombe sa womu meeting no enti se meeting ba so a kwabena meeting so nyama so Jose Mourinho Vinicius Junior ana afi Madrid hierarchy no womu sia meeting na no be decide say abrante we dia yetete wa abonten so obusis ka no enya de so mpagya mu dia makoda de o dia na honje no de om so de be ma na obegyeja wonje sa 30 ne pade enya de so mo mande de o metima pagya mu no sa abrante ne ti ase dia ene oye Madrid player so wan ti ase dia eno mbeto abrante no enti Vinicius Junior started training but o hu san for yin we na hu ni pakra pato Vini Junior no ade ni nyina nie na onya fast de ne bi Farmer Trust Limited na omo no mo di Valuvite Valuman Ediaba Womani Volvat UK Limited ana kabum Volvat Voluman meme dru eba me bia ma place beba wonso men se me pem ana me de Volvat Voluman so ba ene ye medru ema oba bia nso ye oba se me de Volvat the beauty plus so ba eno ana ya ho fen trust me de Volvat o so life aba wonum pem eba ye aduma no Volvat Astro Plus eba hwe wuntiri ma ye aduma ana cholesterol no ni nyina be nane a Volvat omega 3 fish oil after me de Volvat platinum plus so ba witiri with nails ana skin suspension ana me Velvet immune life nso aba ano your immune system booster Velvet menoke ye ma me no mo do mu menopause bra so no we ye do American for the mam wo me de lumitras nso aba aye ma de duro ano ana tese ya de se atimeta ne lumi fantana se momenti ebo akuta ma de amoa wani nyina na ade ba ku ne ye wo aye ne suspension ye de bankoda ana tablet no paying for na tese wo mo nso enom ene ye dupa no ebetimi aboa ye pa eno ati o me de baby vit air drops ene shop nso aba aye mo fato ne essential vitamins ene minerals enso asebukina ebo ma abufra bia enyini enso koye wo me de nuno down so aba eno ye dira ye di tu oya wase na eno ade ase diclofenac ene no pa me de etu oya wase no me de aye ntino wonya bi na the stress awon ma ba bia ye oyampacho ahode aba ene ma nyina koye e de ma de bioglobin shop anso na capsule so aba na eno na eboa vitamin B12 folic acid ewom iron acid muma enti obi a wontimi na obi a wani su chini wo obi a akoma bo pedepede wo humi ensusu ye general weakness ana etete wo bato wonya do bi no ma betimi aboa ye pa ana mo de transfer 400 e de aba the family duema eno na ye didi wa mi abusuani na pato munya duema pa de a we ye do American for the ma transfer 400 tatawe anope performance ne drug shop bia obenya bia total suspension enkoda ana enum na fe tablet ne pay for there woman numbers 0561 088666 and 0561 088663 na wonso wanya format no pen bi na monso metime no bi pa wo matawroma enu nyuma eko enka ya pi na ena no pen no monso eso ya sene enkofa amanso nyina no yakwa ya de nsem nyina enso ede apa and process and air plant automation fonso asasa atese womonso eboa amane manyina nso akoye ene ebanse managing and wonso o construction project ni nyina de a na wonso industry ni ade muhia industrial grade electrical solutions de a womo enso na ebeboa ye pa atese womo de nemapa ede PPA electricals we no womo guarantee 100% genuine product atese eno nso beboa ye pa ama so etimi aboama ujumadi awudi o residence or commercial area ho any industrial phone nyina no so no matimi anya adwuma na tese no so etimi aboaye pa eban distribution of air border any air circuit breakers afi eban air solar cables wo me de nyina bi aba afi AVR ni nyina no any highway solar air packages ni nyina wo mo na air ni nyina kaba e amanti aya na when air process and air plant so automation form so etimi edin kobo womo na omonso putu air stock up to air global air brands na chese enemenso nyina etimi akoye na enso etimi aboye pam tipato ene omonso himome ene onso betimi ne omedin kobo 02007712 07 0955544646 na onso etimi ene omedin kobo na etimi aboye edum omonso eben mekom edum ade se omuni UPA Bank ana edianim che PPA electrical ana wonsu saudi wani che wo munyina dawroma anopa yede ensem no ede abanti kwabena yemfasi ede aka nso nto aso.
Okay, yana si gabi chuam gabi the foreigner etifo ode akwa ne aba yenye na abedafo ntenase na yenin common free amane na afi wi a ya be wi dwumadi no enso ewo ayefie but so wutie me na no pay na uye fie so fie no ugusu a wusia na wadu love say wo boss a me patcho mo for so no family so na etiem ye pa me chow baby a okwa ombetimi aboa no anya eye nchense papa e de abow dan so no kire bi nsuo sa asese atoto a nsuo entimi ama dem so obi wonu ma onchense akoto de board dan so no any even 1 year cry nchense na asase a ema problem patcho make am for a Roxas building our product and adiama yede yama top quality building solutions so e bi a chance now de bodan so no dedi kan sensuo beto ana wia babobi on ma wura ne dem ho inina na chance now de bodan so na nya papa so chance ne de bodan so a wia bossa den na dia wiane nyina na trogu baby na madam wa sanso na chance bia efe so ana enyin na che ensuo betutoyi abonso oboko ayobi anasa amanfo edan so no bonso chance ni nyina no awe na che na basa me so ye de ne de ye ma wo light gauge premium L2 trusses about a premium coated aluminium and zinc roofing. And then dema and also and russet so there's a bibiana conkai ediama a ban interior and so what down so we no say your ceiling so is a ceiling no your acoustic one your POP and not your plastic board no you bend come I'm we row fear then any engineering is ano electricals no hu pa so POP ne acoustic board no ade na oh ye we feel na no me pacho I was all the light this shim na ewura so oban share from you see you has here o share acoustic ya abo ye see you ha utimi sa de na fe papa said ye see the lighting system no esi dia form na ha sa pe be ni beat kama enso dia ama ofie ho no enso etimi aye fe me pacho pe e ya rockset board na me pacho ye kira kwan abo enkran Taifa Junction. Me pacho off Achimota in Sound Road Noir. When Sabbath me I can say, Yamia dum enya honkwa. But Ghana had ye bebia bebia. Unsa ebetu can just friend keke. Na enu enin komo awo 0544 338 042. Ano eye number of friend. Bebia wo Ghana habia mpacho. Yedo niema enso be brown na watimi ade asesi ofio ama bibia no ayekama Junior Ghana app no me pacho me gusua media dance no ade ama se first of all se on download the app no wo phone so de ne entam na ko Play Store na App Store ho na download the app no abo phone so san se upe bibia to online bibia se me ka bibia otiase ha bibia pesa uto bia Oko Junior app no so sabetimi akabi na de kontiam siko ho ne enie first off oto ade ho a efo de to so mi no omniema eye papa ena Ghana afa na bebia all the city regions bebia ye delivery enso de ko ho enintino oni ye adwuma nnu ho da sanso na mo amakofa niema e de aba na mo pese mo uploadi ewo ho na motoma atofo nso nya bito no enso akonya eda ho a o download app na na so no wetimi ade atono kama pa na bibia na akonkan ade amantimi saw Junior app no pebi ato phone so na afi wonso bibia pa so to bia no wetimi ayisu app no na o de atono kama pa Amanse Community Bank PLC ese brana be jebesia ye besia de demawa nya fe na akofa we bra na kofa we na hwan kofa wo fa bra no mesa we nya kasa tintin bia de hian se obi account our savings account, current account, susu account, and our fixed deposit account. And we be no, you are good to go. Not just also about Jebisia. Na a chef for said it in Bessiano. I ask Kana Casa would genuine problem no, but interest rate no. In Sihone Ebekasicano, and no problem. And inti, and the Bian, me advice so say, so person Jebisia dia, Amanse Community Bank PLC, Nako John Bessiani be san say. So the interest rate no compare the other banter. What we said the end of form pa. And into the beer Jebisia we hono, into me sell a year na be fee or a salary worker. And I pass the amount a salary advancer. Yama Boama said to me, Akabi, we are cranny by Jebisia, me patch maybe I will be a Bajebisia kofa kotrim and more Dumano and Yakase. About Amanse Community Bank PLC. About the guitar banker, ye be pantino. Only problem so you be my ATM anytime biano you can withdraw sikana se bibiano akonkan ediamao na yem branches no so bebre head office na nkasa de Antwerp room na ewo okomanso ene ne mpotama in fact manso de bebia on sabetimi akan sanso na akokere anyan kwanta bekwai obakumaso for instance Santase Roman Hill Ahonjo Sofuline and Miamia P. Osabaka Amanse Community Bank PLC. Me about your air frame na any income 0247 200013. UTM se see how your ba na nansem obi na ukofa nku bi de twuti uchu tiriwie we utinwini na ebubu atete ko chese utinwini se say wa ojina mi rom na he otu mi tinwini se de emse ni na asam so uni problem kra obabia what's our problem na pacha o kono akwakoto eye amuzu hair food now they are sasa utinwini me pacha utinwini na etete etutu na ama wotinyi no esa no me patroni nyina ebejai ama wotinyi no efu kama be ma bia wotie me obeso nya waves e wotinyi no ma me patro eno anu so obeto eye amuzu hair food ni bi na wo de asasa wotinyi no na yo bia ehoa wo sa hoa ye ade bia ba wotirase a e ma wotim da bia na ye wo hene nti wotinase abon so odu tirim me patro kotobi na ni na ntu ase information se nyame adom Ghana hafa na ba bia odi owura cosmetic shop bia bisa amuzu hair food ni bi o pedudo to a okọ eye tafo insha so amuzu junction na so watimi adode kama pa 0242 955 056 ene ye number abetimi no mo edi encommon eno no na P phones and accessories me patron na P ye ton phone etu phone na ekuta no asase ma problem a to twene baby never to phone papa our yensam ye phone so the quality no our so pa ya sign at bonus because ya be so bia timi to phone efin na P phones and accessories and the brand bia opekuta bia me patro brand near ma bi yenko na auto phone edi free and some na the coffee problem bia ba how the fobra na yen solve problem no emfa emawo me ba tonye phone so nko na eton eba home appliances flat screen TV fridge air condition washing machine kettle iron on sanya mana yisu ofeni dina so no eyade eton bia fo ye ton bi enso de amawo na ye promotion na ye ne se oton ade a ne acho ade fufuro oton ade no ya acho ade fufuro aha enti rom se sie kuma se adum odi owura to bibia ye ma bibi fufuro na onso timi ade akọ eye efie so ho ha etina na pedia hode na etefo de eten se kuma se adum no baabi miensa na onsa betimi akomo ko pieces sie na bisa na kwesi agema body no sansana sedan Casmin Media opposite ho na no honso omo ho edna ubusa eye adum obi ba JK building opposite Prudential Bank honso no eye ade a omo enkan de eye Madina Zongo Junction Tabale Abobu Station anu anu so be from awo 0533093422 ofra ono ankasa na befa na ono adi eye enkomo afemi enkoso computer honim de awo Union Practical Institute also my catch show since say we are so na ekodegita so he say yet computer world enti ekobani say computer yi ene wo babra na wo no ya wo wasa ade na mfa so meso ne wa hu ya be catch papa ya be quick down 10 enti dioba ya ne say obekọ eye Union Practical Institute ni yenya abotre actual computer na opeso ye professional course software engineering design technology with drone piloting online business and e-commerce data analytics computer business and office administration any course bebre na eho me pacho kono kosua biwate na ebebo ama wodwuma no okwa ye befawo ama wo so no wotimi enya dwuma papa ye betua wo kaye na bibia no ayeye enso ade ama ye hade oba eye practical so entu be wienu tumi se eba computer mo adesua wajimu entity a wabini ye pa yo kumase sisan so me pacha otra enchefa asa okukrom na how de buso bia se okọ eye sisan so besi bus stop no ma friend number 0555 383848 now our friend no more edin komo then you be go energy drink there some catch you say o sorry bia na wan kasa won say fedia ma bre che say you can't even quite my mesraw obi adwuma dia ha na ochina na ya je adwuma ne dia fun say nitino mesraw no be go energy drink ni bi na obenya hoden sonko na sisi ya wasori na okwakobo adwuma kama pa me say ye fra no be go energy drink onoma no side effect so and na onom so a said the esibuawo ama wotumi bo adwuma no titiru a driver for am drive a long journey obi a wutie me no adwuma e dey pa no me pato the new Bigo energy drink no and I may come for and so at the amount finally Camel natural selection shower gel and I may come for the amount na etie for the attorney say shower gel bia odi dwaria amount natural color oye kokwa etoso uye tuntuma ma color no utuntum no fe se na bia opia bonten a na obi an se krachi ana baba ne color enso ayefe pa na side we nyina no shower gel bia efe huro ena esham ɛno nti wode dware wie a te sɛ deɛ ɔde perfume ɛna deɛ adwa nti dee no ebi kura na perfume asa wode owie ya no hyɛ shirt anaa hyɛ ataareɛ na fa pie you are good to go ɛsiane sɛ ɛhwam paa ɛbɛma ho nso no ɛtumi ɛhwam ɛba in 6 flavors nti deɛ ɔpɛ sɛ wotɔ biara medeɛ mɛtuufo sɛ wotɔ a tobia bi tobia fafrafra na fa kotwa na won so no bibia enye kama enso emfama ho ye de free Europe abrochimem ene de abepiem awo Ghana hanyame adom eban so no FD ajatum se Ghana ni bia no o peshaja di dware a ebebo wa anu ane se obeto Camel natural solution charger ne bi na so de dware kuma se nkan bebre awo ha cosmetic shop bia no wram 0243 744 855 eno King Dave investment omo edna ade aba eyedwaso asese oromre na 1046 insurance 4.5 years started jumadi in the discussions no emfa ema meshase ade afri Joshua Holito Josh good morning
Richard good morning
Pacha what is saying
nyamiado bibia boko na wonso
nyamiadom me ho ye
beautiful
you say dem say season enyan started in the eden ya upowumpo unya chim radio no na a sports show nko dia obviously den a transfers edna obeti se discussions no dodo na no and also for because clubs in your business now mo the room our new season anyame adoma and also ye di ewura mu ntino minim se business in the bebre na clubs na ye anti anopedio person only ye tiefo cha no konya ne da ho yintiu na yenko
Rich inti a lot of business happening on the market na enra na me dream hu about a couple of things because within a split second so we are dream say oh check it transfer news bia wenimba onu so na fufra sayaba so you realize that by the minute bia no there are updates na enra ye the young Monday mo situation na betudwa Vinicius Junior. That is something a war abonting. There are so many things that are coming up from those transfers. You be hun komo. But then na me shade biro Tottenham Hotspur. Rich Tottenham Hotspur for no, they are doing something interesting, and I think through Roberto De Zerbi, I'm sure this season we will see a very different team on be presented in the English Premier League. When him say omo pre-season CCA, omo Chelsea a boy last Saturday. I was Sydney, omo share Chelsea 2-1. Rich before the match, no Roberto De Zerbi ka sembi or say players be o team no say CCA. Omo your madrid so omo free wa he will not stop them. And in fact, ono na ready. So wo kasa umboto dem Hotspur ene CCA ono no kasa asem na. You allow you to go.
Players be no.
Inti top of the list Richarlison number 1.
Richarlison and Grande.
Yes, Richarlison. Second player Kuti Romero, Argentine international. Yes.
Obama Kuti Romero ako.
Yes. He doesn't mind. Now, Rich uncommon say when you look at these two players, Ubi Samia, I think one of the reasons why Roberto De Zerbi bet me akasa asem and he say he really thinks that so who your player na wabeji ejuma and the very circumstance of the beji ejuma no was very uncertain. Rich, they almost went to relegation. Tottenham Hotspur. Almost relegated. Almost. Now, if they had gone on relegation, Rich, it would have been one of the biggest disasters in the Premier League because her stadium always see over £1 billion. And the stadium for the championship. It would have been disastrous. In this way, Roberto De Zerbi now was survive this relegation where you are. One of your topmost priorities is to make sure that going into the new season, you have your best foot forward. Into players know their psyche, their mentality. You have to make sure, say, Obia what team Mubiano is willing to and ready to work with you and your philosophy. And from what I'm gathering, no, some players me anyway. It looks like they want to disturb Papa no. It was he's not certain about their futures.
I'm going to South American players.
So what you say? One from Brazil,
one from Argentina.
The other from Argentina. Because Rich, look at the business that Tottenham has done in this window.
My business.
Oh.
I'm two players.
Or the 51 million Akofa Matias Fernandez from West Ham. There be on point it was over 80 million. It was over 80 million for that player from West Ham. Okofa Paul Van Hecker from Brighton, over 50 million. Okofa Sandro Tonali from Newcastle, over 80 million. Andy Robertson, Eba free transfer. Look at players, BT say, Victor Osimhen and Savinho, they are linked to, trying to get them into the fold. As well as a branch here, friend Cody Gakpo. Potentially, no, potentially. So, they could spend nothing less than 80 million to go and bring that player. Until Roberto De Zerbi is not joking at all. And I can assume, say, once the season begins, because of say in the Premier League, no, managers be fresh in their respective roles now. He'll become a very competitive manager in the Premier League. A person who's competing for top 4. Yeah. You want to be there. So if you are a player and you want to disturb him and give him that trouble there, on check out
because Pep now not dominating Premier League. Is of
course.
These are coaches are no GDS or no more.
You can compete with them.
You can compete.
Now we saw
and do very well.
Deserve no time or Brighton. See
we saw him, yeah. It did so well.
He's a very competitive manager. And if he makes signings and he's trying to build a squad, now
maybe also players in the middle, no. Had no company.
No, you see, said maybe it will not be so clear. Say had you say enye abia adia almost sign or company, we may not know the full story.
Because a bit to say Richarlison. Also, losing the touch kakra.
Of course.
That Richarlison and him say
he's not the type.
Or Katana new crop bobo to net. He's a winter than whom say
as a waba from kakra.
And I say a yamina Lucy playing time kakra.
Yeah.
And or Brazilian. Brazil so dear, national team no. So up to that bench cha.
You win a bimbo.
Opposition or national team.
Yeah.
It's sometimes our players, you know. Aya ube komuna no coaches ni have problems.
Yeah.
Because of playing time. But Richarlison, to be honest with you, you na see him no. Abrant no aba from. And Ebia deserve ya no feel okay, this is a new coach. Mami nko na eja mi nko kan chese coach wa abadi am snow. Ba ko no akwa ba ko no ma mobi. O do abadi am mi mobi. Coach ni so bi ono so tinche no so say ah. Na wo ko eze o touch ya wa from. And Yabasa deserve at the point my things okay. Akwa ma here obe distract me. We project now person be na hwa. No ma nti ebia
sana in community. You have a point because we are no crani sin China. You see, every new manager who comes into a football club, Rich, they have certain players they lean towards.
Yeah.
Because of philosophy or personal team. And as we speak now, no, with all of the signings our Kofa CCR or their back Tottenham Hotspur, no, it looks like he has a certain attacking minded footballer or so you need to be very clinical in front of goal. Yeah. That's number one. If you cannot trust Richarlison to give him that kind of performance, now or the what's now is not then you are not even demonstrating say you want to become a better player. Yeah. And I think that's what is happening to Aya. In fact, De Zerbi is a no-nonsense coach. And on him out. So I think that's what is happening with Tottenham Hotspur. But when say he's he's a very experienced player.
Very experienced.
Player. Because in the defense, when remember who is the one who is the rock. You are literally shooting yourself in the foot. You are sending yourself back when you are trying to push your project forward. And of course, or a link to Inter Milan but they will not sell the player. Because it's going to be very instrumental to them. Reach Liverpool, I think Omo signing Bradley Barcola from PSG. But only problem no. They are going to have to spend more than £100 million for Star player. I think they've made up their mind. I'm going to Star player because already personal terms no agree with player. And I can't say club to club ebe negotiation to get the exact transfer fee. But Rich, let's look at Liverpool. Andoni Iraola Beji Ejuma Sisian. One of the things I want to mean here is to replace Mohamed Salah in that team. Onyenya Mohamed Salah in replacement. It was our team. Liverpool for say if they got something around 70 to 75 million pounds on beton and branch friend Cody Gakpo. In the Tottenham Hotspur Edinechi. One of the things I mean say Liverpool may try and sell Cody Gakpo. Omunya good price for player now on beton. They will bring Bradley Barcola for over 100 million pounds. Obekwa ko boss left flank no. No more the 72 no more the koto or the tongue. Cody Gakpo no akwa Pedro Neto from Chelsea. That could be the direction for Liverpool. Because Liverpool for the Pedro Neto Nsuechi. So look at it very well. Cody Gakpo out. Omo decide second back for Pedro Neto to come and play for Liverpool. And then still get Bradley Barcola from Team Ayefreno, PSG. No babe see Akanyama Liverpool. And Andoni Raiola, no, aside that, no, he himself knows there was so signings. Because look at Liverpool team this year. Omo team now say above from Kakra because they have not been able to sign the number of players that they need to sign this summer. Already know, previous window no, or signing Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, aboarding. So they have to try and balance the books. But since here no so no, Andoni Raiola abeji adwuma no, players are omo Kenya na ye nkola. Rio Ngumo Hamo, Curtis Jones mo. So aside that, you have to still build a squad, but buy a couple of players. But all those are players no. Now we're making sure say we team no why set for a Premier League no. Because Liverpool needs to be competitive, Rich. Yeah. They have no excuse. And Usha's our right back situation also. Jeremy Frimpong. Yes, they were losing form because of injury. Emma Nkomokra Babonti say hey Bia Liverpool for besa kwa Alexander Arnold from Real Madrid. Because Anshan will not playing time under Jose Mourinho. It's Liverpool for Edin Kakra. Because they say Aka young players, but they need to strengthen the squad. They need to get experience. They need to replace Mohamed Salah. And yes, our season is here, dear, a bedding, and we have barely 2 weeks to go. If the transfers no rich, a couple of teams are going to have to buy. Or man, yes, our buys now they can't remain competitive. And also a Liverpool for the no. And now minim so ya. Yes, Newcastle for rejected Arsenal for £75 million bid for a Bruno Guimaraes. He say Rich, or mama player no I say oh ya pa ba.
Things you are true.
Na dela na nim say
omo be share na Arsenal Jesse ni ade akwa ni so. And job any medicals no start training.
Inti enna Bruno Guimaraes a posty picture be from Air La Manga. Wako joining Newcastle for pre-season. But the truth is that player no nani nye. And Arsenal for no muntie. There's a reason why Newcastle are doing this thing that they are doing. Rich uchi mutanya Bruno Guimaraes obekwa ko ba Arsenal. But the transfer fee is what is being negotiated. Inti Newcastle for so pay 75 no pay more. And that is their tactic to try and get more money from Arsenal for no. Inti ansha the total fee for player no about 82 million pounds. For a 28-year-old player, Rich. I can do 2 years when the contract so. I can understand. Be a son and Newcastle for one person moton player. No, but you see, Rich people say didn't come on Kobe before. Newcastle have a reason why they are doing this. Richard said PIF, Public Investment Fund, or Saudi Arabia, Newcastle for in 2021. No, the investments they pumped into the team to acquire 85% of the team. No, Obian himself, I was saying Newcastle very competitive in the English Premier League, but have they been competitive?
No,
they have not been competitive.
For players, your imagine some don't project no. To the sense omo aka some coach then starting project. Eddie Howie also oko.
Do you know why? Newcastle Fono have been faced with a number of challenges. There is a new rule our Premier League more friend squad cost ratio. Now, South squad cost ratio no. Premier League Fono say the revenue, a total revenue that a football club makes in the calendar year no. You cannot spend more than 85% of Sasikano on your player transfers, on your squad wage payment, and even amortizations, and even player wages. You cannot spend more than 85%. Now, Ushed Newcastle phone books now, they have only made about £350 million in total revenue in terms of sporting activities for the last calendar year. We are only seeing China last season. UEFA for finding almost £5.2 million for financial irregularities. And that was one of the reasons why now also Tom players which is Sandro Tonali. They had to sell players like Anthony Gordon mo. And even before that, Alexander Isak had to leave the club. Because almost like they have not been able to do their things really well. And they say no, players winning, they can't still go into the market. It is the reason why they want to sell Bruno G for more than £75 million. No, it's not because they want more money necessarily, Rich. They need to make sure that they bring down their squad cost ratio. Senebeya, they will remain within the range. Because if they spend more than the 85%, sanctions beba almost. Of course, there's a gap. Bia ekase, you can spend even more than the 85%, but uko 315% now. Then sanctions will begin to be raised against you. But ono na say no, UEFA a fine no 5.2 million pounds in the last season no on person be kwakwa irregularities beam. So Newcastle for no, it's not like they just want money. They are trying to make sure that their books are clean. Internet say no, omo pay more money for Bruno Guimaraes. They cannot allow him to go for just any amount at all. But reach 75 then come news and you.
Sir.
Oh,
Transfer market.
For a player like Bruno G.
I can't be more 1 year. Omo price tag get there almost 80. Na player can 2 years. You see, also me my catch up. Say kanina ni ne ka so we say transfer say yenka bim. No, I say transfer from umpo. Sana de na koye.
Akoye, yeah.
Me na me to me player.
Yeah.
Me feel so when na me ebo we na me de gia e be bo me.
Yeah.
Uvu those can abet me ato a. Bra na beto. And e dan me can say sa discussion ayala every point be which pep na na kasa asem no.
Yeah.
O say say player na wo kwa koto no enye sika na de koto na problem wo. Ba player na ba de ani etaka no. Sa ko mo na edi no street ni so no. At the end of the day, player na buy do timi be yeah. So what I say, kana odi koto no nye problem do. But player na buy. Do ono so the bar table no so. Honi here.
Yeah.
It means say player no say be turn 100 do 150 odi me say me hobi because transfer who go post ana ba be.
About rich unim say.
Na kanye sa wo de can grow. Bruno Guimaraes.
Yes. He can turn more than even 50 million pounds.
Anji I say am za
of course on said the
market can men co transfer market enko
sanity
wo bo ho a wo kwa yes 85 for a player na fan simple
rich say even Fulham look at the business Fulham are doing. I mean this uncle name from anunsi rich Fulham have gone to buy Abranti friend Air Gonzalo Garcia as well as Air Cesar Palacios for less than 50 million pounds. Rich team ye less than 50 million pounds. But let's look at that dynamic. Players now go for mono. They have played under Alvaro Abello as his Fulham coach at the Castilla or Real Madrid. They are players that Gonzalo friend is saying coach I friend Alvaro Abello but to get both players 22-21 for less than 50 million pounds combined. Rich Alex Scott or Bournemouth CCR. They are pricing the boy for more than 70 million pounds.
Scott to Alex Scott. 80.
Adam Wharton or Crystal Palace. Steve Parish say one for anything more less than 100 million pounds but for the player on tournament. And they are both 22 years. Nation they Fulham for na ye. Rich so Fulham by Christmas time. You who say Fulham competing in the top 5, top 6, top 7 and money young because I think mid-table clubs that is the strategy they go with. Brentford more, Bournemouth more, Fulham more, Everton more. They go and get the players. Then they give them the capacity and the improvement by their coaches.
Make sure this is a scouting system near
very good.
Scouting for good players. Age in what from? But year na tongue. So because a transfer market ni more there.
So these two players, Sir Gonzalo Garcia and Cesar Palacios say, I will not be shocked by the time next season is over. Their prices now, Fulham transfer fee, will be more than 100 million. It tells you what the mid-table clubs are doing, and they are going to be competitive. Now, Chelsea, for one player, will spend over 117 million pounds. But only Fulham share, you will see the quality that Fulham will display on the day. And it's about transfer strategy. Now, Omaba Fulham, no, they are going straight into the lineup because you're Fulham. Harry Wilson, Raul Jimenez, and so go back to Wolves. Rodrigo Muniz Carvalho are not Omoni Dan so or your star striker for them on Shadow and Shiny. So Gonzalo Garcia goes straight into the lineup to help Alvaro Arbeloa and the Media Okudi Ewo Fulham. So Rich, transfer stories in the be brave, and I really think say in the coming days we will hear more stories. And Chelsea for no Rich, but me from Anusi or Chelsea, I think on person muton Romeo Lavia finally. AS Monaco for now, we say on person with 25 million pounds ever. Number for Romeo Lavia, and to say the market, Chelsea for now will make a lot of sales because definitely I was so much tremendous squad no. But one of the players that I mean need done super or Chelsea saying could be shiny was Romeo Lavia. And Chelsea for found 53 million pounds from AS Southampton. And you know, or you're doing so or torn for 25 million pounds. Waboka
the situation
I am a
Romeo Lavia.
I am a
fine player.
Yes.
But prayer prayer.
And when you look at injuries and the way I affected players, this is one of the ones I bear me upon. But
sometimes I say injury ya cutting in career short.
Yes.
Too bad because he's such a wonderful player.
Yeah.
As a enough playing time.
He's a star player.
Bobo.
Now, Man United reach Munkoye signings.
Say some music can have judging on transfer market. The players we have a Abra move to more per 100 million for Scotland. Me and the players now. But now they will say they will send BC. I come Bismarck Usubempa. Ayala, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Now I want to say,
oh, Nhyira don't be come.
Then Nhyira say, anyway, I'm on an insect now. If you am ready,
there are some few situations where I have tried to understand. See, me nyame honti asieno, and I say, you need a for ne, I have for check. Science, very, very important. Two issues. First one, I have some few Chelsea friends. Metaini omubon komo about football, and over the weekend, namini ebi bon komo, trying to make sense why Chelsea will buy old GSB, say Warbeck more, and Jordan Henderson. I think say Jordan Henderson the other day on this platform, I have discussed it extensively, kakra, for people to appreciate the way I'm meeting your mercy. I can't probably done a Warbeck there, no. Inti as Obia media football China, as an analyst, you try to make sense out of a lot of Enyoma ACC. No, this is the picture I get, and reading around has given me some understanding of what really happened. Rich, bare 10 years ago, I can bet say a lot of Nkofo Mutie Sports and didn't know a club called Brighton and Hove Albion. Enti Brighton ankasa Nkofo ti omunkane eye Nansea.
Time at Chelsea crash as is almost on place no. And then Nisha says a
Now time Nkofo nya knowledge about the club Brighton no. Rich a dear pan Nkofo di nim omo say oh, you can Brighton over Bioma. The first thing that comes to mind. Fantastic.
Fun low key.
Yes.
Ya be package no.
Yes.
Ya ton.
Into busa obia with the football at you Nancy. Nakasa oyeni Brighton and over Bioma nkoma. The first comment ebe fin the bakone no ba so onim football mu pa. And so because oh, sa team no mo ya dia pa. They bring in players are onti omudinda. Can make them some stars be na omatunton. So they've done very, very good business with Tony Bloom money sa Nkofono. So that is what Brighton is all about. They've rose to prominence in the Premier League, and the obia enim omo and as omo associate omo dino with, and they say they give opportunities to players around the world who have potential or more talent, you know. Then a farmer warm platform so they make business out of you. enti enkofo betimi abobo a lot of players in recent history. Brighton ammo musa opportunity na omotwa ede ama other colleagues our Premier League nim any around the world. Now Rich, say if that is what you nyina ye nim say Brighton eyo omadwuma dia, then sa foundation no am I entiase why Brighton ebeton obiti said Danny Welbeck at 35. It makes sense, and I'm because I'm crying go moto when I'm paying for. Now, this is my understanding. So, who follow Brighton year? Rich, in the last 2 seasons, Omako Greek and Omakofa Charalampus within 19 years as a striker. Then the same Greeks, Omakofa Stefanos Zimas, also at the 20 years. And it's our time betting games, you already know the French Jorginho Ruta, who is 24 years. Rich, Sam 90 years, Brighton eto almost 90 million. Say Brighton echo first strikers in Miensa. She say backward the 24, backward the 19, backward the 20 years. Rich, per your knowledge of Brighton, who said DN or the Baba yes I'm 90. He's just coming to give them the platform, package them with value, give them playing time with team. Now Omo goes if they are able to score 15 goals, 20, then they go and sell. But Rich, for better 3 seasons, Munier, Sir Brighton and Granada team anymore. Because of Daniel Welbeck a presence in the team, they don't just bring Enkra, they bring them to blend with Mpenyinfono more team no. Until Mpenyinfono act as leaders on the pitch, no more act as leaders in the dressing room, no oma shaping no more menton crano. But no crane say Brighton will want to give Enkra more playing time because omo no beti me aton omo. But Rich, Daniel Welbeck presence at Brighton, you know, it's not allowing that. And the anticipation and also the in company the projections, you know. And the projection from Brighton is okay. And then we'll be ye gidi kwa nyini ne ball ne be perform. Until the mum or the maba mum money be 1 year 2 years ne ball ne be perform. Parich in 2024-2025 season, you know, Daniel Welbeck shared 10 goals in 30 matches. Then the following season, which was the last season, were improving at the 13 goals in 37 matches. Now, because of the number of appearances, I have won a contract. Say so. Otimi Mekia at the age he triggers 1 year extension every season. Because of that, in March, Brighton may announce say Oma trigger 1 year extension for Daniel Welbeck because Otimi am making the number of appearances a send a clause no on the contract. Say Otimi Mekia obetimi a trigger 1 year no. Enti Rich, Brighton a kofa am grabber. But bra penyimbo na obo no. Enti no untimi bench no. Am I nkra the opportunity to play bebre. Eni say obi o help Brighton games bia Daniel Welbeck ba na edu be bia momu ansana omo de nkra no mum aba be bobo ni bi. No mo say there be. Ya we am nkra be kadem. But they couldn't just push Welbeck out of the team. Enti Daniel Welbeck any mo be say in March tamo timi appear na or trigger 1 year na the contract be 2027 now no. Our pre-season in Nhyira Rich na ni so de hu nyina ne say on saba bedjumaden na watimi appear the number of appearances also here on clause and trigger to 2028 so that he will continue to be relevant in the team. But the youth policy our Brighton no any of managers no so you know say akwa na e de be kwa na beto na ye betimi akasa onko but no so obwan Rich, then came the Chelsea offer. Why you have cranny a pomatum tom. Ye the other Tony in Srudada. na king ye boy prum when mo say Chelsea for na Chelsea akra be na wa ha Sam yatiti na wie because mo de no my business bebre kuku era wonne Moses ka said mu nyina ya na ton ma won e ma mo ade akra be bio na mahunu wa ha na mo be baleba akọ baleba da kenu so Manchester United na yatiti wa abonti so mo grow no but mo de ye hwe team no sisie ya akra bia nso aba mu Chelsea fo mbe hia no Chelsea for by mo so de bi we de makokra no na ye pe no rich Brighton for say sa ene se yate de ne ye mu nkra ne ton mo sasa panyina mu na se mo se mo pede a
first camera
fa kamera ne fa ne mamo ne ye ton ne mamo wia na se Danny Welbeck ni team ni mu a then our Greek guys no and obi say Rutamo can then have the platform to explode the way we want them to explode to reach anya day ama Brighton. And I need Danny Welbeck to convince Brighton to let him go. Because at 35 years, I all blocking the sign of cry person, you're making business out of them. Not and just a mere block, but a performance block na the moment here. And to Chelsea by they have to just give Abrante FN Danny Welbeck to team FN Chelsea na Omakwa business. Now when I understood the story like this, it made a lot of sense to me. But Rich, what is the biggest lessons I will see every BBC? Especially your clubs in Ghana. There are some times we are quick to ship old players to make room for younger ones.
But
Rich, as some American CCA gives us 2 football administration lessons. Number 1, Ebane Saina, Brighton and Hove Albion, in the contract or money than the Welbeck one. Rich, there is a clause in the contract telling Dan Welbeck say you will only stay here and trigger 1 year extension, and more than 1 year, 1 year extension. If Utimima this number of appearance, Safu ye to sa say baby a your football nefino. They put in performance clauses in players' contracts to get the best out of the players. And see any mere situation say than a Welbeck put 35 1 year now team num na yetia wo. Sa 35 na wodi no. Ah wodi wo ye team mu ayenka de ye kwa ne nkankra na nkepe no. You must prove to us with your contract clauses why we still need to pay you here. And he said, me also said there are sometimes, Rich, you even watch Danny Welbeck and you are like, hey, now Brenty, Diana, Essen Kutupa, yes, all Koba or Nimquari Bobo, Mitoma Mochino, still no didn't up so heady born because he has to earn every appearance on the pitch. And no, and a Bemanetimiya caught boardroom, I'll catch him so. Muslim appear 30 times. My bomb homo dia my coach I'm my appearance of 30 times, and you must reward me. That is something we must learn from. As football Ghana. Then the last thing, and he say, Rich, Obinia, and just say you start to see any pakon say as only BBR to offer again. There are some things these people can offer. Anya Shekrano say but in a kakra, and you're free than the Welbeck on. Anya Shekrano, ni years kakra on it, and Krana spend the year. Rich, he has passed on some knowledge to them, mentorship be to Omo. Oh, and it's a ocean of friend the way we see Omo football now. There are a lot of things we can learn from them. And your club administrators, and these are some of the stories. Otia. No one found notes. Now was what should be at was okay. Sana say omo ya advance no omo yo omo you see the ba ebe boying.
Yeah, hello. What's a problem ni na say. Football na yeah no. You always depend on gate process. Into you say supporter na can say player ye man nko ni amana nko a supporter no ma stadium. Okay. Into whatever supporters in the bia enyo supporters ni say ma we nko ni amana nko.
No but Rich,
too bad.
You see the the other side of Asamna can also say the club de biara ye the champagne for binsa.
Yeah.
The model now wo de run a club no. And na every supporter bia or wabonti bia e was say ode a dog club no. Enti uko Englander a typical Brighton Hove Albion fan enim say or no. Every season bia sa club no make superstar. The model of the club and it's on beton. But then so I didn't say the club no scouting network no. And you're so good to the model no more and say, oh, let's allow Moses Casedo to go.
Okay, another Moses Casedo Baba.
Yes, let's allow this person to go. And see, the times are club administrators influenced by supporters and when they do not have a concrete plan. So who are planning model are running with consistency. The supporters will come and understand what you are running. I reach those days home. So now we call dance man, so call liberty professionals. The whole community loved the club, but they were one of the best-selling clubs in Ghana. They were not maintaining their stars. They all go, but at any point in time, Omunim Salagis like Tete will bring another superstar. Aoyakra. Enti Odu dan someone say Kinasa Okasoko Liberty Bacha. Rich, before I gave the best start, Important Hong Kong Moody and say they've already spotted the next Derek Boatin in the team. And Obeko Pakrusuno Yakrakatwa. But they know, say in some years to come, this guy will blossom very, very soon. Enti, these are the stories we learn from. You could clearly see but different, the meticulous, like the details in the way they run their teams. Which made them an usikrano.
Kakrebi.
Okay, to Ebi. Mabeka had I was standing here, and I'm a catcher say Liverpool him say Salah and Chelsea team. And I'm a catcher say in their boardroom they've already planned for players that Oma line or up as Salah a replacement. Yeah. And it's all about Kaisa Denipa. We mentioned the number one, William Crashaw, because it was Michael Odise. Marriage, Emre actually Liverpool say Michael Odise, Omonsankana. They will not get it. Second on their list was Yandi Omande, RB Leipzig. Again, Liverpool made moves. But the moment that Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid came in, Liverpool empesa participating in sa bidding war na echo agbrante because that could only shoot up the price. Mamen ka se mincho. Rich, it sa se me makabebre in the last 5 years. Se open club a running year pa Liverpool ka. They take the right decisions. Liverpool will never pay 100 million for Yando Monday. Simply because Akrano sebi on sudden you be of football. And see, Liverpool look at their list and say, ye Michael Olise. The competition now when we don't want to get involved because there is no way we will pay close to 100 million for Abranten for what? Said the NYA. But Sieko Bakola Hondia. He is one player since I know both for Lyon Academy. No, he has been on our scouting radar. By Yentini Antono and a Paris Saint-Germain Kotoye. And the Shekran, Abranten call Paris Saint-Germain. Rich, Okobone Homoding about 152 appearances since 2023. Was 39 goals or 37 assists. Now in that Paris Saint-Germain team now woman. Rich, Wabab on Homoding. He is competing with V Chamo and Desiree Doué. Waji Champions League at Waso. Waji French leagues. He is part of the French national team proper. And so we are Abranten is Syria. Even at the age now, he seems to have won a normal. I'm going to say winning mentality. What they know compare Yando Amanda. He is a winner, proven winner than Yomande. Until look, yenko pe Bakola. And again, say no ani ye di nkomo about Vinicius situation. Rich, any good recruitment team, ebia find the gap before they enter. Inti they know say Bakola I can 2 years contract our Paris Saint-Germain. But debia l'équipe les Parisiens have been reporting say Paris Saint-Germain person western the contract. Only the contract extension could be now branch and rejected. Why will a young man reject contract extension from the club? It means be a person or make a statement to be and as a person of free. The moment Obe dancers to your potential suitors say, okay, this is the right time to move in. Now, Medimanu, the transfer process, after now, but Rich, it will need some closure. Unim the entire. You see, Paris Saint-Germain value Bakola. £145 million.
Almost 150.
Liverpool so say they are ready to pay close to 100 million. It means that there's a gap of 45 million. Meaning say anope wo share Fabricia or say afina club to club
in common
assassin. But the understanding is that assassin based on baby obi ejina no Rich, there's a £45 million gap in terms of evaluation. They will have to meet during the talk process, to make it happen. Mohamed Salah and Pabuano, Rich, send ye TNA. Ye kasa won ye de wo ba be shemua. Enyem Pabua ketwa. Nti we will monitor how Liverpool will be able to convince Paris Saint-Germain say omonton Bakola ma omo, and may assure say under Luis Enrique, which player be only committed to stay with the Paris Saint-Germain project. Luis Enrique will give the go ahead. Say, oh, Mumbenya good deal after Branton who Monton because after all, what say he's not ready to be with us 100% committed. Inti Munis Kanianko no and a boy Liverpool. Our Paris Saint-Germain at the bonus moment. If Liverpool are able to get Bradley Bakola, they've gotten a very, very good player. Very exciting. Or everything about to me, imagine Rich, imagine Bakola, imagine Hugo Iketike, Alexander Ishak in the front three. That's
the gap
yes, that should be good enough. That should be good enough.
Solid.
So be a shiny new man. Now man you say dear Namoye. Obia shiny new man. Obia try to make some statement signing.
Say Jim there say me say me transfer fees now I go on to 100 million 150. Say Jim. Oh.
But isn't he supposed to be one of the richest British? Is Manchester United not supposed to be one of the richest clubs? Nancy more qualify for Champions League. Is that not supposed to give you some attraction to players?
Oh, yes, can yes.
Oh, you say that is the difference.
I think so. Previously, there is two skagu. Sister, my answer then.
Okay, so
and also be one of the factors.
So, who did you say? Enye man you na enya akono. Enye Carrick.
And
enya akono. Sika spending anam.
Papa no mpeso obeye.
But enye nansia na mo CEO Omar. Ekoye interview. Yes, okoye interview ko kan say. Yes, mobile recruitment there. But more lessons are most from the past. Say mum caught into any negotiation na ye betam ebuo bi di ahwemutirim
ebe niema
money da ho. That is the reason why you enter into Fernandez on 100 million say and can fan go for you little. So me hu dia mo ye no, but you see what that means fundamentally, and say Rich, then you not enter into a competitive recruitment process, because agents, any players, entourage, and who say that is the only way they can shoot prizes. And the player no, or everybody so better na mama you, but some player the same thing no, or be proposing na Paris Saint-Germain, or be proposing na Real Madrid, afei na obia interest won ho basora na player ne price and also na man you for no say from the past no, we don't want to do that now rich any I said Tillemans mo as I make him if you and your man dem cry for 100 Real Madrid listen no say man you say oh we are not within that space
Real Madrid cry 200 million now Manchester United and Nhyira Champions League
you don't want to own
any 100 nibia Tillemans
you told you the better say now one so
okay Zakaria Simon today I see there should be a 70-30% image right on in favor of the player, not the club. It's always the Spanish clubs who are fan of doing this to their players. It's bad. They should stop that. Okay.
Image right.
Image right no. Sylvester.
Uko Spain, yeah.
Sylvester Benson is simple. See, there's nothing unfair here. Without the club, where would the player be? The club also give the player some leverage. Players just have to negotiate the contract very well. Okay.
Unim say image right. First, no, Tetepano, it was 100% to the club in Spain. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Unim tawe start say change. Ronaldinho, ebe hit from Pana. He was getting too many endorsements. Ni na akọ Barcelona. And I play and say, no, enye fair. Anya we kwa Medina. Medina dey no ma ba entunim. Consider me na mama me kakra afi kurimo ene Califat mo eko Brazil ene South America so mo kope players na ba Real Madrid ne a year Barcelona na players at that young age no catch mo say because of Brebia Ronaldinho be boy ya onya endorsement na mo fani nyina he had to negotiate and say na mo money bi ntino say ababe ye one of the men can say negotiation tool. Rich, that was what Real Madrid edifa Vini every Barcelona and some promising him the percentage of money for the image rights. They say Barcelona and Real Madrid echo player who Brazil. Rich, apart from the project player and preference in I don't know. One major key issue in the negotiation. Hey, why na me image rights in Obama me be brave? Okay. Na ma jatu na me dia ba. Me say my discussions are there wa say. Rich, oko South Africa ni adia. Next year, look at now. I've said this over the years. Your clubs near Ghana, Rich. They be a year so say intimi maintaining your players because you need sika meboa. But I have always proposed one of the best way we can get money for our players, and say sponsors kakra bi na beba yen semono. My memo example, if you are so high sense sponsor program way. I can use that example. High sense sponsor Kotoko. High sense eba so sponsor Kotoko no. Rich Kotoko players they are struggling to keep because of Sikasem. And as part of the negotiation with High sense, catch you say look, Ebia. Your samba your players huge. Omo key players to us. Yentimi meet your financial demands. By a person more sponsors, no. So club ni attractive and more sponsors, no. So more mileage ni ko echire. Inti ye person more fat players anyway as part of the deal, as more brand ambassadors, more billboards and music, especially the ones na music or a corona club ni woman ni there. More for more images and totoso. Na odi every month be across 5,000 Ghana cedis in bar. Na more for more. Say playing him say onya 5,000 Ghana cedis. In addition, I can salary every month just because of that deal. On himself club him say Kimo loses our deal no. Rich and no crab it mama player natina. That is what we call image. And so we are image right na yeka wasabina. And yes, I know maybe say. And it is everywhere in Africa. And so what traffic na mana tonkwa nim. Nti yem family ye kotoko ne has ye ho nkomo. Nyame ya adoma. Enabo so be pepe. And Ghana Premier League 2026-2027. Eshase ewo eye Ghana ha. Na yenim se kotoko ne has the be start league se ya. Ana hu se oh players ni we be ko. We muso be ba. Na yehu say ampa ebia wotie che na hwe the kind of recruitment kotokone as na ya enokra ma hu so okay
this season kotoko be ya de house be ya de di bi kura me ye me tofo a me duwe be sha me yiwe afri anam duwe akwa ha sa nkomo ni nyina no eno ne nkomo ampese ne yedi ewo eye dwumadi so ye be say the general outlook of kotoko and then house folk nkomo no ase kire nyina enie na say sambo hwa kotoko ne house yi ye be statistics nyame ado ase de maka ne ene boso me pepepe ba besi ne asa yen se da hu se kotoko to play away has to players way akane ni enim wo no but obetia so omu ja players ne kwan nansia yente kra asante kotoko ya to kwampoku ya te ebiche bafo Francis Akwanom ene Benjamin Tumo ye goalkeeper ezo mu nyina no monko na omonko petim fufuro emo but ebesi ne no yente sa asante kotoko so obi a ye the players we na eba na omonso abobo season no ede ama aya asante kotoko this time there na two teams say if you so bagana hom ne super no there na omo eye na no babo omo ama season a ye wura mu no de asante kotoko ene house folk na nim se ene no mba ye wo season no betimi aboa omo madu eye sa season no ana ene ne nkoma ene mpese yi na no yedi ewo eye fidie so tu betimi do message number Insurance 4.5 FM on Facebook, YouTube, and Shot TV. Na in nkoma no emfa entos Jude. Osu ba for Jude na bibia boko de.
Onyame adom rich na nso e.
Nyame adom me hoye pa. Asante ko do ada insika ni ho ana.
We be say good question. Na me answer wo ye. But me hwe ade ketewa bi o say na o ka no say kotoko agya players bi ko. Na ye de aba omo ewo ho nso. Rich uni made. First of all, me who kotoko players are yeja omo kwan no. Me who one particular name I was shocked. Metro the Intia, me shocked.
Player ben no.
Benjamin Chum.
Okay.
The goalkeeper.
That left goalkeeper no.
No, Francis Akwa said yes. Benjamin Chum. Only the ama me shocked. Me kwampoku it was expected. Francis Akwa munyina no certainly Moshe one player no ni age at say Francis Akwa around 25-26. Or by no me approving the metal because offer Kotoko last season Kotoko signed 14 players me boa 14 players no me pacho ye do beto so it was Hubert Jau Lord Hilary Adabo Seth Kwadwo Aziz Adari so kaisa goalkeeper now or that Bichim United on him go that year pa Philip Amo Inusa Adams Walid Fuseni Johnson Osu Morfin Donzu Muni na aba account including Zakaria Fuseni and Shaib Abakari and Musa Hamzata any Abrante and Joseph Amoa. Now, Usha Benjamin Chuma the Remfi or die. Edema Yankasa Yemi, you also on the players, no, Omo Ankani, you know, creator Young Apostles, creator Yera Donfe, on a first no be United chairman. On under 20 na ye koi, I come who has some talented squad. Benjamin Chum was their goalkeeper. A very fantastic goalkeeper. So when the Babenya player, the profile no deban was sent national team Jesse. Secondly, or say H on the side. Na utie kotoko nkomo na miwura mu yi a. Rich ade mi hu ine say Abrante no. Per de minya information minya kire say. Omo feel say as a content with say obe second choice. Some mindset no ni trim enti o man ne homene so and they expect that or say o man ne homene so. Some factors in na aka na also mu jane kwan. But Rich mimi die nie. A goalkeeper what's a national team Jesse, national under 20 goalkeeper.
No, secondly, or starter.
Perfect. Secondly, or say age on the side. Rich or age on the side. Me ma history kakra kotoko anye bia yenkai bibi me patrol 2022 World Cup. The only Asante Kotoko player or call 2022 World Cup. Na ehwan. Anya Danlad Ibrahim. Danlad Ibrahim. Oba Kotoko no assassin no. Okay, say the Nilo ni Kim Faisal. Oko brekum Chelsea no na. Na part of the process ye person di developing no. Because that time no Kotoko out trade top class goalkeepers. Okay, Kwame Bamo. Sa omo eno.
Abalora no.
Razak Abalora mo. Danlad, sorry, Felix Annan at a point Oko Wareba ya Felu
losing in the position.
Yes. And so now it was understandable so with the kind of goalkeepers or any competition no dan lad o nya kwan wrum yenja ne kwan o rather yellow ni ne kakra o kokin Pfizer kakra no ko brekum Chelsea kakra ni nyina boa abrantie no sa dan lad nso ko that man is under 20 rich finally yeko 2022 World Cup the only Asante Kotoko player okobi yenya ne so mfa so me pa twanye dan lad Ibrahim so offer this boy ne trajectory no similar enti ade na wunya branch we humre enya ne ho abotre se oh chale ma mensha akra we pair ne prospect okra o se national team jersey o say what prospect that ye bedi ne ho mfaso even say the act of indiscipline mpa onim enja na ma ne nkokwa loni no right pass so anya me point here pa loni no because that me bedi ne ho mfaso enye player bia ne ka say indiscipline nti suddenly meja no nkokwa o Richard nyesa be wie no benu ho pacho so anya me point ni ye ti sa brand ne de no mpanyim form mo adwere nkoso ye because me nim say as a matter of fact last season kra na nko mu jara manako ba fatao seidu no e onu nti no mo enja that time na no mo de no akolo no e anu ntia ti ye me adwene mra sa ne ma no so na transfer no ye hu ha we be ne ma nyesa wo be jai talent bi wo be wie no anu ho secondly rich ye nyina ya ka asem we adi nkomo we say kotoko no true do the rate at which I order any signings no because we can say what check it critically since the departure of Rane Amponsa Kotoko signed almost 100 players so him sir yeah be both season e do on 16 players 18 yeah then sa even last season 14 players ne sign and you see ye team sir team ye no shebe bia eye weakness pebi be so na strengthen no coach or Harry Tinkler say he would want to work with 25 players. Maximum should be 26. But all the point, maximum should be 26. And it's a abro. Now, no crowds will say 15 players. You drafted almost into the senior team at a point. Me figure around 5-6, and later me bear 9. So the point is that the coach near Biano. There is a reason to it. And Rich, ye can. Say everything club no and suddenly on this sporting director can boom na tell say Kotoko players be 8-10 unim zanke be raise questions and ke ekro na be blame omo na I gathered say secretly omo ye omo ne ma signings ready ebi baba utie me respect omo position enya bibia na ye media no because say e be person e be ba be break story no ye etu ebe in your to our benefit eye interest near you but they bia na anya to the benefit of Asante Kotoko because they be our bad director of sports wayala and come o can sem nanka bear 50,000 asem story ne buy na fe de sika no apeja koso mo se bi mo so do mo ho agim ti secretly omo yes so met omo de na say just that it ought to be strategic utie
aka one month near start league
yes so fair na make say pen come medine there omo so omo ye omo signings ne secretly what's the there board way buy no omo ye be on the quiet o dey steady how omo ye omo there how they brought on board Eric Tinkler how omo dey even sporting director mpo eba as virtually omo be they do it on the quiet say if that is the tangent if that is the way to go no omo fu say na be bo omo amade omo problem anya I've got no problem with that just give us quality signings no should be strategic but the point is that utie ubetimi and secretly but unveiling there yenye the secretly right what the point na say because player neighbor be say Kotoko jesi abo say we unveiling na ye ni ye honum na be ma osiko ana meboa eno nso na di mumume no be ba manfo bo say yakofa player A player B were top notch and tell say supporters ba stadium and me appreciate o ye onye ma secretly any problem na emo medu unveiling na ye onye ma bi o di abra also what me ma enthusiasm ne kosro minim so anya me point me a Rich, director of sports raise a very important point. Ne foreign no. Na ya de bia ene e kamensa mo ameba be kan no raise all ka than wall back no. Rich. It what na say adwene ho da say Ghana ha. Oh. The issue of fast dey me me ha ho nim de ntie ni so ha ho. Say how to folks to transfer bandan so meboa. Masaya me checks and pay.
Oh he didn't think has some omukutia.
Yes. Miami checks are no pay. Me na minim say check. Otibia na togbe the check ko. But truth of the matter is based on the head against Sanka Bibia. Me best studio ya Masaya me checks. Right part out point na say Masaya me checks. na meka abom because her situation no crowd the areho ye kotoko dey say nya abotra ne abobo players e wo honom so a obo se kotoko even without say all your signings no still obetimi aye bibi but has the na no because one say Solomon Agbeshi or South Africa was signed 2 years encha mo bete ho asem enti Agbeshi ko say Benjamin assign amon na ka say mosre na at least first round e dey under. And it is obvious, and who himself had to focus apart from Benjamin Asari for now. Keep a bend or habit me do any afternoon. So,
as a man who I also have to now, on also does open as on koi.
Come up the brave so. And to reach one day, has the end idea, yen situation.
Okay.
And has the no another information or honey say, so what I now tell someone the sporting director, but officially on your sporting director. At the internet makers are, Besina Watara and sign contract and farmer has. Pachoti reason and they say 1 year contract no on you okay with it or pay either 2 or 3 years because sporting director there who say a roller project in so and reach over signing player granted the same program transfer ban here left here a sporting director and any coach ebe carbon signings memoir and he has the end automatically ultimate signing for now apart from transfer ban no one kasa and to them more say until Watara best signing official or best signing, and mom and couple be asking.
Okay.
So has the no, but rich me issue now the directors force raising no me pamucho. Kotoko had to folk, especially seniors, mama margin cause issue now, me paying a raise no pay. Rate at the India. Maybe a brand be to so monche. Ni did Jesse Bediako. Jesse Bediako Athano. He is one talent our season. You mentioned here, making one some signing the Amasamatex. Uti. Abobo Edema Golden Warriors. Now the omniscience are branch and one. And pay and you're not name some number back and ye, Messiah no dear me pay meka Uti. Make project and mechanism be. He's a talent to watch out for. But no pay the American ye. Or say them as Samatex, only their Samatex aye. Samatex say. Man 22 official games and what's our branch and me bo. Apart from 22 official games, near 22 official games are rated the best training. Premier League any FA Cup. And no official games, meboa. Almost say at least also not 10 goal involvement. I was 22 official games. Then number so much. Either so best go and also be assist. I was 22 matches now. Also bon. Rich unim the Samatex area. Or the pressure to hold the ama abrantia no say Bema Yansan will say over Baba Sika Keku. There is a target. Team so amu serious.
And then Kotoko has omunyibi.
I said that director of sports kind. I am miss say check you benya Kotoko midfielder entire season. On even 4-5 assists. Uti. Ubenya Kotoko striker.
Kotoko befa abetamwa.
Ubenya
na wafane sa abe.
Wafane sa
Memfa performance clause beyond show contract me so want me about this number of matches. One show goes with ma. If you make me a down come wako.
Mo rich. Say to sanka kwampo kwanko me ma out me dey. Utie. Kwam poku feel say so uti kwam poku dey na wa start here o ye no. Unim o feel say we entitled Kotoko bona ene dia.
O chena dwonye didi.
Mateba bro. Mencho. Say Kotoko ma premise no. Eba so say kwam poku. Ye jaw kwan ana ye jaw kwan reason is simple. Yeah, far when you my target. Say at least also to me my 15 goals a season. Patroti. Kwame went me and me 6 simple. And Kwame now upon the season new year no. On one case anonym so apamon and what do meboa. On one anymore.
But Kwame poku situation no. You bet me a party a brand and kakra because yebo season man along the line brand to prime meboa.
Yes.
Ofi premu ne buy.
There be uti.
Yeah, ofi premu ba de dey be affecting the performance kakra. Ana ya na wonu me nyaade.
Oh, no, you didn't sign him, man. Your circumstances. Me. And on the ultimate pardon player.
Imagine on say issue in here. Rich. If you are CIT, a dume bia ni abrabo aye bono. Omo munim ade ye no. Omo ha adwen kakra.
Omo ego.
Yes, because when me.
Nti ura dume bia mu a. Ura efie bia mu a. Baby obi wure bia no. Rich omo mu enim ade ye pa wo no. Omo ha adwen kakra. Leo Messi mu omo ha adwen papa.
na nyame sina Guardiola ka say me ma na enum drinker just onum drinker so
I've told you the story tama Luis Enrique ba foforo and what a match ba ko bench Messi
chairman go training
no fu adechi wan ko training Luis Enrique tia mo training kan so sakwa na mo ye ne hini wa ha do me don team fasade ni ndimi o one bad training ne ma suspend no omo ye training na Xavi Iniesta went to so no se masa
akwana o
Leo Messi ye ne ndilisa o de wa ye ne mo ho atia ye pa cho na bote ye ne kwa kasa omo ne kwa kasa ba ye no that season Luis Enrique won treble that same season yet that same season he won treble with Lionel Messi. Rich the fundamental and say bebia nipa e shedi dwumadi bia omo ya de pa even abusi omo kura no mo wo sika mo de omo ha adwen. But Rich, you do what we call management of those people. You have to manage them. Mean question, Kotokoya. Go and ask previous managers about administrations how they've dealt with some stubborn players in the club. I'm a true man how hard.
To the best. Me, I mean,
do you remember Benjamin Benechampon?
On it,
Oko Angola ba
no,
stubborn players. I want him stubborn players. Okay, Nancy Akra Yaya Mohammed. Yaya Lukaku. I mean, we don't have time.
Now that was first. Now don't bother me now.
The point I am making is here. And conform with Nimedumano, there's a certain level of some harding. But that is the reason why a Juma space be our managers.
Team manager not already.
They are supposed to manage those players to get the best out of those players, no matter how harding. Mimimbo play be heading. But which say, oh yeah, dear, now harding, we will manage you. But the moment of performance, ever started up dropping, and see, after yes, so because oh yeah, the entia. Say, sir, Adiana, who ye na nintino, ye manage you to keep you here. No, say, estanza call for more, you become naked. The management ends to also be. They will allow you to leave. Asama me came here so obi a o team bia enim why baby amede asama nam enti emre bia atwam no e bia sebi udi foolish crana na the institution abon ho ban because you are given a certain results. Yes, they will manage you.
They go so much.
But said the only moment maybe emu a which nobody,
no, of course,
and the best so that is where they will start telling you, oh, you are a bad nut. Oh, you katibone, you jama from a best and katirina. We say, why you say? You ask yourself, but Sana Matia, no, in the past we were given a certain result, and today now we are near be any kuso. But oh, you go to Libya. Oh, my two pass Libya. If your value in the team is take off from one, Rich, you will be as naked as Obi or free bathroom, and nobody will protect you. That is why some players are being asked to leave. Where are my results? Also, you want to keep up with your ego as if you are a superstar. There is no way sad two situations, can happen within a team. Many men will secret in just 10 seconds. Look. 1 month to the start of the season. Adi ya and say both Kotoko and Haas are doing what ne wasn't come year during the off season during this pre-season. And until I show no more question. Rich. Na IMC no more for Moju Media Mary. And na open so be name the new board.
Of course. Yes.
What was the purpose of it? To ensure continuity. Over half of the season, went me and to management. went near and set it up or plan in motion. To start your year season now. Your plan will be is set in motion. Rich, board no paper, they are good people. Me, I've heard a lot of things they want to do. But timing in football, no, Rich, and try there's a football calendar. And my expectations, they say, no was a Kotoko board, no. Time open so name you munano. They should have started planning.
Behind the season.
Who are they bringing in? Say mention and now what boni dia to order that coach we and what for not to order that. Etika offseason your bosses in here now. You start naming your management, your technical structure, whatever you wanted to do. You name it off season, and by this time, Kotoko should move with the speed of light. How's the crowd here? The Italian can say has a transfer banda a limiting I went to me last season. You know. They knew said they had to take care of it. And son a beer could moment maybe also never seen now. I can 1 month season. You know, you are still in the process of paying there. Rich, your seriousness is known to your people.
Rich, seriously.
Your time no.
Rich.
What's not in Yami? And come on,
because any amateur. Targets
no, but mean seriously, if the Kotokone has in yes, I am
no, they don't do it. Rich,
performance crossing.
There are so many players of Kotokone has our crayon once a business number down to maybe what ultimate check KB record 2-3 seasons, Negos and do even 8 midfielders on team criti on your BBR. Yet they are told that because they don't do it. Now, I understand Rizzi at the back, and also one young portion.
Okay,
management of players. And maybe NSA more time. I did BC made the amount, so I'm in any panic.
I will do so any more pie. It become a yaw any moja idiot, and I would.
And Ghana Premier League 2026-2027. Eshase ewo eye Ghana ha na yenim se Kotokone has the ebe start league se ya ana hu se oh players ni we be ko we musu beba na ye hu se ampa ebia wotie eche na hwe the kind of recruitment Kotokone has na ya enokra ma hu se okay this season Kotokone ya de has be ya de dibi kra me ye me tofo a me du ebe sha me yi we afia na me du akwa ha sa nkomoni nyina no and no name command person there yedi ewo eye dwumadi so you say heard the general outlook of Kotoko and then Hasselfolk and come no as it na enie na say sombo sha Kotoko ne hasi you statistics in Nyame adom say dem aka na ene boso me pepepe ba besi ne asa yen she da hu say Kotoko to play away or to play away hasi to players way aka ne ni enim wo no. But Ubetia so omuja players no kwan. Nansia yente kra Asante Kotoko. Ya to kwampoku, ya te Eviche Bafo, Francis Akwanom, and Benjamin Tumo or goalkeeper. Ezo mu nyina no monko. Na omonko petim fufro emo but ebesi ne no. Yente sa Asante Kotoko so bia ye the players we mu na eba na omonso abebo season no ede ama eya Asante Kotoko. This time there na two teams yi teams say if you so bagana hom ne super no dey na omo eye na no babo omo ama season na ye wura mu ne dey Asante Kotoko ene Hasselfolk na nim se ene no mba ye wo season no betimi aboa omo madu eye sa season no ana ene ne nkoma ene mpese yi na no yedi ewo eye fidie so ntu betimi do message number in 4.5 FM on Facebook, YouTube, and Shot TV. Na ini na ni nkoma no emfa entos Jude Osuba for Jude na bibia boko de.
Nyame adom rich na nso e.
Nyame adom me ho ye pa. Asante Kotoko ada nsika ni ho ana.
We be say good question. Na me ansan wo ye. But me hwe ade ketewa bi wo say na o kan no say Kotoko agya players bi ko. Na ye de aba omo ewo ho nso. Rich uni made. First of all, me who Kotoko players are ye ja omo kwan no. Me who one particular name I was shocked. Metro the Intia, me shocked.
Player no.
Benjamin Chum.
Okay.
The goalkeeper.
That left goalkeeper no.
No, okay. Francis Akwa said yes. Benjamin Chum, only the army is shocked. Me Kwampuku, it was expected. Francis Akwamunina, no, certainly, Moshe one player, no, the age, let's say, Francis Akwa around 25, 26. Or by what me proving the metal. Because over Kotoko last season, Kotoko signed 14 players.
We are a Betway at 10 years as a betting company. And Betway 10 years no more, almost so many years na air carbon na yedi Betway almost 10 years anniversary, and unti Uko Betway platform as well. You see a lot of packages are to celebrate our clients for more 10 years anniversary now or more etimi edino. Intimi shawa so me ka Betway obusuano wa www.betway.com.gh www.betway.com.gh and I say o download your app na wetimi abeka Betway obusuano ho. Sa o ba adododi e what 10 years anniversary ni mu nyina no. Also, Ubenya Chefa, ultra bet, near free bet, or spinning near my award, and you might be brave and our Betway, and your more clients, che after 10 years. So, intimate show, and young one bro, never come Betway, Abusiano, Namayin, intimate, enjoy Betway 10 years anniversary. Only 18 years, dear, and Emma, who can Emma Unchabe, but so the 18 years echo dear, and you know about Betway, Abusiano, Betway, almost say get way more.
Jeff, yenya birthday na Jude so ba ko bi na afi yemfa and sorry. Happy birthday and confirm Elena Satonam Dazi. Elena Satonam Dazi, and your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Nyamin Shaupa na onya okasi we from O Papa. Solomon Kwesi Dazi, ono ye physician's assistant. Achim for health center ho. And na O Papa was here show happy birthday. Nyamin Shaupa nenyini ebe penipa na de siwani so bia nini na no emrem emfama happy birthday to you dude.
We madam we sumun chama ya bra Asante Kotoko supporters chairman Ashanti region chairman Alexander Menu ono ankasa ni nua ba prekope ni nua kuma ena da yi na ne dia the Grace Osa o takwa ena Grace Osa awoda ti Grace Osa happy birthday age gracefully Obaba.
Pacho yedimosia yakufa adum kase no de amamanyame aduma yebesan enemu ehia after say yakufa adum news no awie no munim say obra at 1 ebeto aso ohima benewa anitimi nyina sofunom ene lady gold omo ready omo edijumadi no enso de ba ntikoso anama fide ni na ehoni papi ena edi emamu enso